So tired of flying mountains on the road again, on the road again. Learning how I want just to call my special friend. You know the first time I trouble, out in the rain and snow. Rain and snow. First time I trouble, out in the rain and snow. I didn't have a sorrow, not even know the place to go. My dear mother left me when I was so young, when I was so young. My dear mother left me when I was so young, when I was so young. She said, Lord have mercy, and on my wicked son. Through the morning, down the road I go. Working all night, go home to work all by myself. Working all night, go home to work all by myself. I just feel you thinking on the feel somebody else. Oh, get on somebody now.
Good morning. Good morning out there, man. Bruce Gas coming at you over here on a Sunday morning. Oh dear, oh dear. Oh boy. Sunday morning on the Mount Hope Bay over here in Bristol, Rhode Island. Coming at you to talk about the fights last night, to say a farewell to our brother John Page, man, Batman. He passed away. Needless violence, man. Needless violence. Sad, very, very, very tragic, man. I never spoke to him in person, man. I was on, in fact, one of the first panels that I was on YouTube. John was on there. I drew tight, and he asked me to stop on and talk about British boxers, man. Talk about the older fighters that I saw, like the guys like Harold Graham and. First one of the day. I needed that too, man. Definitely needed it today. I don't know what's going on, man. Life is precious. It's crazy. It's cheap. It's priceless. And Slugger Sam's another one, man. We talked to him last week, and he acted like he was having a stroke on the other end of the line, and it sounded serious. He didn't sound like he was joking around or his usual clowning around self, man. It sounded serious, man. I think that's Slugger Sam out there now. I think he's fucking playing games with us, man. Let me shout out everybody that came in here to have a smoke with me this morning, to talk about what's happening, man, in the world of boxing. Mr. Pads, my brother. First one in the house, man. All right. Mr. Pads, you always showing love and support. I say it all the time, but I don't think I can say it enough. Short Bus Gang, SBG. I don't know where you got that name, bro. You might be playing with copyright infringements over here, man. Bruce, I'd like my wrench, please. Thing is, bro, you don't have to ask. Wrench beggars, man. Fuck, it used to be a turnoff for me. I wouldn't give you one just because you asked, but now, man, hey, fucking have a wrench, bro. I appreciate you coming in here, Short Bus Gang. You were here last week, and you're here today, and bro, you're now a member of the family. Nobody can time you out except me, unless I take it away, because gas giveth and gas taketh away. So I hope you appreciate it. It's nothing to appreciate, but bro, you got one, man. You got one. I hope I made your day, brother. Sometimes they made mine. The first one I got, bro, it made my fucking day. It was, I didn't even know what the fucking things were. I see half the people with gray, half the people with blue. I'm in gray all the time. Every place I go, and I see the wrenches. I'm like, what the fuck are these wrenches, man? Anyway, you got yours, bro. Mo Boxing, my brother, man. Salute to Mo Boxing, man. Good friend, good brother. Another one, man. Another guy that I feel like he's my. I feel a camaraderie, and I probably wouldn't know Mo Boxing if I walked by him on the street, man. Shout out to Mo Boxing. Carl, the Crocodile Hunter Hansen, brother. Shout out to Carl, man. Shout out to you, Carl. And Henry, I don't know what you're doing over here, bro. I don't know if you're jiving us. Shout out to you too, bro. Shout out to you too. Beavis, you can get to the bottom of this, I'm sure, man. You're an internet detective, a sleuth. Chi-Town, brother. Thank you for coming by, man. Thank you for coming by. We're going to talk a little bit about boxing over here as soon as we get through the, with all these other little things we have to take care of here. First upon utmost is me catching my AM buzz. You know, I think I got one on 2 hits, man. Strange, and I'm running off about 5.5 hours sleep last night. You know, it was a little hot. It wasn't the greatest sleeping night, but you know, it was some great boxing. I was up till after 1 o'clock watching that. About 1 o'clock, I got in. I tucked myself in, and maybe 2 when I finally closed the eyes. Anyway, I don't want to leave anybody out, man. Slugger Sarah, Derek Clark, bro. Derek Clark. Shout out, my brother. Shout out to you, man. Slugger Sarah. Oh, boy. BK, shout out, my brother. Mad Chad, man. Mad Chad, salute, brother. Salute. Macadocious Mac of the South, man. Thank you for coming by, my brother. Shadow 979. Shout out, my good brother. Shout out to you, man. Jelly Bean. Oh, it jumped. You know, they a lot of these guys, they're reading the things like, oh, it just jumped on me. It just fucking jumped on me. Get back to where I was here, man. Shadow 9. Yep, it jumped on me. George H, my brother. Shout out to you, man. Thanks for coming by, man. Always dropping little comments in. I like that, bro. Thank you. D-Ray, my bra. Oh, D-Ray, man. I didn't call you back last night, man. I'm sorry, bro. So it was you know what it was, man. It was a surrealistic kind of an evening last night. I love that piano in the background. I love that nice little blues 16 bar, 16. D-Ray, my bro, salute to you, man. Salute to you. I think that's just about it. We got 19 people in here. That's big for me. I appreciate that, man. Make sure I get 19 thumbs up. Keep them algorithms going, bro. Keep Bruce Gass out there so the public can see this beautiful face. And man, you know, it went from hoodies to tank tops. Crazy weather up here. It's supposed to be 90 later on today. I wouldn't doubt it. I see the bay is all hazy and a lot of boats out there. One more we can. Get into a little boxing talk over here. In the water. A day like today. Stay hydrated. All them boxes, they talk that rehydration clause. We got that rehydration clause right here. Stay hydrated, not rehydrated. That's it, Matt Chad. Make sure those neighbors don't go peeking on you, though. They call the cops and you get in all kind of trouble for that. And make sure you get that sunscreen on you, bro. I made that mistake a long time ago. I got a little bit fucking skin cancer on top of the dome over here, man. The doctor said make sure you wear a hat all the time outside. Don't get any more sun on that fucking beam of yours, man. I may have to dig deeper. But anyway, man, you know, we saw the afternoon fights. Who the hell did we even see in the afternoon, man? It's Buatsi and Richards. Richards. It wasn't a very, very interesting fight from what I saw of it, man. You know, it was they had a couple of women that were fighting in there. Babic, the Savage Babbage. Yeah, we caught all that shit, man. And that, you know, that kind of passed by. I wasn't into it, man. I was watching it. They had 2 women's cards in there, and women's boxing, they should have special cards for women's boxing. You know, like the NBA and the WNBA. They don't put them on back to back, and they don't put them on the same card. You know, we got some women on there that really that I enjoy watching fighting, like the Katie Taylor and the Amanda Serrano fight we had a couple of weeks ago. Great action. But I was watching some of the other ladies yesterday, and I couldn't dig it, man. The punches are just slower and 2-minute rounds, and man, I don't know, man. I think when we show boxing, it's, you know, we want to see professional top 10 boxing, man. So males fighting each other. You know, there's a place for women's boxing in this world. Don't get me wrong, man. And like I said, I've seen many women's fights. You know, watching Clarissa Shields. She could probably kick half of the fucking guys' ass out there, man. But you know, I think they're just throwing cards in there to have the pop of having women's boxing on your card. You know, and anyway, man, I was waiting for the Babbitt fight. He didn't show us much. It wasn't even very memorable. Saki, salute to you, brother. Yeah, that's the you know, when we got onto the Showtime card a little bit later on. You know, in fact, I even wrote the fights down because my memory, man, I don't remember anything anymore. You know, in fact, if we started talking about this in 3 or 4 days, I probably wouldn't remember much about anything except the main events that we saw. Memphis Freestyle 901, salute my brother, salute. Thank you for coming by this Sunday morning. 10:17 on the East Coast here, man. You can't around here. You can't stay in bed. You can't sleep past sunrise. Basically, sunrise is about 5:30 in the morning. Salute Electro Jed, bro. Salute, bro. And today was no exception. But being real hot, I wanted to get my first walk of the day out of the way. And we went for a nice one today, man. It was really, really nice. Everything is coming alive out there. You know, this is great weather for weed because it's got some humidity in the air. Not a good weather for edibles, especially the gummies. They tend to stick together. But the weed, you can leave it on your tray for a few hours. It doesn't crinkle right and dry right out here, man. You know, I got this little nougat that I've been hitting on this morning. This is the sour diesel. Tupac, my bro, salute, man, salute. But the cards that really got me going last night was the Showtime card, man. I dug it. I dug that card. And see, the thing is, I can't even remember if this was the first card, the first fight of the card. Let's see, what did I put on here? Okay, yeah, it was, man, the Jermaine Ortiz. And you know, when they first mentioned it, they mentioned Jimmy Birchfield, his promoter. And Jimmy Birchfield, he's from Rhode Island, man. He owned like the Classic Restaurant. He promoted a lot of shows in Rhode Island at the Civic Center, the Dunk, the Providence Convention Center, Twin Rivers. But anyway, man, and he was there last night, and he brought Jermaine Ortiz. I believe he's either from Hartford or from Worcester. They're both stone throws. But Mad Chad was mentioning his buddy Bobby, director of amateur boxing in Maine, and he said to keep your eye on Ortiz, and Ortiz was the real deal, man. He fought Jamel Herring. You know, Herring just coming off that loss to Shakur, the Marine, hoo-ha! Former WBA junior middleweight champion. And he wanted to see if he still had it. And Ortiz is coming up. He wanted to see if he's got it. And like he said in there, he wants to be part of the conversation. That's what he was going to be this morning. And he sure as hell is, bro. You know, shout out to Jermaine Ortiz and Jimmy Birchfield, man. I saw him in there with his suit on last night. He fucking hair was looking slick, and You know, the guy's got to be close to 90 now. Maybe 80. I don't know, man. Years. Picasso, my brother, man. Shout out to you, bro. Shout out to you. Picasso is one of the cats I've known. I think he's one of the originals that I saw when I came on YouTube. You know? And I'll never forget, I was in a chat with him, and somebody said they were talking about a fight, and they said he's gonna put him on the canvas like Picasso. And all of a sudden, I see the guy get fucking timed out. Picasso. Never forget it, man. He's got a sense of humor that I appreciate. I mean, anybody that could dig on Mo pulling Curly's fucking tooth out with a pair of pliers, he caught that one. And shout out to my man Picasso. But anyway, man, yeah. Jimmy Birchfield, back in boxing again. You know, I didn't know where he went, but he had a restaurant in Providence called the Jimmy Birchfield's Classic Restaurant. All the fighters from New England would eat there. He had the autographs on the wall. If it was after a fight, you know there were going to be some celebrities there. And this was a place in fucking in the middle of North Providence. You know, well, you had to dress up to win the place. You know, we're talking about fucking jeans and, you know, everybody in Providence, man. You know, it's a crazy city, but North Providence, predominantly Italian. I mean, I think disco still lives in North Providence. But anyway, man, Jimmy Birchfield's Classic Restaurant, he had it where, you know, it was a jacket and tie dinner when you went out there. I went out there a couple of times. I think I went there for my anniversary. And, you know, you'd always see, Vinny Paz would eat there almost fucking 2-3 times a week. And, you know, I mean, Jimmy Birchfield, he was restaurateur, boxing promoter. And you know, in New England boxing, anybody who's been watching it for the last 500 fucking years, man, then you know who Jimmy Birchfield is. And anyway, I think he's got somebody else here, man. Jermaine Ortiz. We might be hearing something from this man. And then we saw Janibek and Danny Diggum. Was that on the Showtime card, or was that on the ESPN? See, I don't even remember. I remember we saw it though, and this was another one, man. Janibek, look out. He real deal, man. Out of Pakistan, you know, somewhere out there. I think the same place that the Triple G is from. And he was killer, no doubt, man. You know, Mad Chad says he is a fucking killer. This dude is a fucking killer. You know, it was he had no problem, man. Danny Diggum, I think he was ranked number 3. He was from either Ireland or England, somewhere over the pond. And he came in. You know, this was his time to shine. You know, he no excuses. And man, it was Janibek, just too much. Watch out for Janibek. I don't know how they said that. I bet Phil could probably rap that one off pretty well with that Mid-Eastern dialect that he can dig out. Kazakhstan. Hey, I'm sorry, Mr. Pads. You know, I don't think and I speak. I should think first, then speak later. I find I do that, and I say something. I say, did I just fucking say that, man? Anyway, man, maybe not enough water yet. Maybe I'm still dehydrated. I know, Mr. Pads. It's all Middle East out there to me, bro. Anything east of New England, that's Far East, Mid East, semi-east, whatever. But it's all, if it's going over the Atlantic, it's all east. And you know, Janibek, watch him. Don't sleep on that man. You know, I believe he's a 160 pounder, and that division it's hot right now. It always has been, the middleweight division, man. It's you know, it's one of the glamour divisions. You know, we talk about the super middleweights and the you know, the super lightweights. Those are all, you know, proud divisions with, you know, nice great lineage, but you get to the to your basics. You know, back in the day, it was the basic 8. You know, and your middleweights, your welterweights, light heavyweights, featherweights, bantamweights, flyweights, and then there was the juniors, the supers. You know, you know, you look at one of the greatest boxers of all time, Henry Armstrong, went from featherweight to welterweight, and I don't think his weight fluctuated all that much. But anyway, man, Janibek, keep your eye on him. Keep your eye on him, man. And I noticed the gloves. I wrote that down too, man. I keep track of that now because I see fighters with different gloves from different manufacturers, different colors. It looks weird, man. It just looks, with everything going on in boxing today, don't you think they should standardize the gloves that they wear? Finkley, man, salute to you, bro. Thanks for coming by. You got somebody wearing an Everlast, you got somebody wearing a Rival. And there's so many things in boxing right now that they're pinning on gloves. They're taking the horse hairs out of the gloves. They're padding the gloves. All different accusations and conspiracy theories. Kenneth Johnson, my brother, salute, man. Thank you for coming by. You would think that they would standardize the gloves that they wear in the ring, man. Give them 2 brown Everlast gloves. And that's, take them out of the package. Have the chain of command, but you don't know if this blue glove with a gold writing on it. It just to me, it's just a needless distraction. Dick Justice, man, salute to you, my bro. So that's one of the things I notice a lot about about boxing today. You look at fights even from the 80s, the 90s, they all had the same gloves on. There wasn't even a question of impropriety. And now it's it just kind of leaves a little door open there. Why are they doing that? I heard it was advertising, that you could be that there were certain gloves that were approved, certain brands that were approved. So if you prefer an Everlast over a Reyes. But it doesn't seem fair, man. I remember listening to George Foreman when he was gloving up for Michael Moorer. Michael Moorer was the A side back then. He was a champion, so he dictated what was going on. And and George says he was looking at the Everlast gloves in the at the press conferences and at the fighters meetings. And Michael Moorer, he said, we're gonna wear Reyes gloves. And Foreman just said, he's playing right into my hands. But anyway, man, it shouldn't even be an issue. It should be standardized. One more thing we'll add in there for things that can clean up boxing very simply. And then we caught the Luis Nunez and Jonathan Fierro. That was I think that was the opening bout on the Showtime card, and that was a good fucking card. That was a good fight, man. 2 undefeated featherweights. Where do you see that anymore? It is bright as a son of a bitch in here. I'm not wearing these for any other reason. I'm getting freaking serious sun in my eyes over here. It's a good feeling though. It's kind of like laying on the porch and doing this, man. It's You guys know, man. Living over here is like living on a boat. I got a camera coming in that I didn't order it yet, but I'm seriously thinking about it. I can turn it around and it's got, see, the one I have now only has a two time zoom, boom boom, and this other one has a 10 time zoom, so I can turn it out there when things are happening. And I mean, I think it's going to be a great addition. It's about $300, so it's kind of like, we're gonna put that on the back burner for now. But it'll happen, it'll happen. But anyway, man, yeah, the Jonathan Fierro and the Luis Nunez fight. Nunez, man. I always have, that's the word I have a tough time with. You know why? Because in my around here, there are, it's a lot of Portuguese people around here, and Nunes, Nunes, is a very common name. And I've been called Mr. Nunes, Mrs. Nunes, Tony Nunes, Jonathan Nunes. There's, a lot of Nunes that I know around here. And then Nunez. It's the same word, but man, I don't know, man. Maybe my tongue's too short or something, but I always screw it up. And as soon as I do it, I say, man, I'm so sorry. How fucking stupid am I? Da, 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 da. Anyhow, Luis Nunez, I believe he was out of Nicaragua. I've got to write these things down, man. But Nunez, he wouldn't back up, and Fierro, tough kid, man. Salute, man. The war report, bro. Shout out, man. Thanks for coming by. I am talking about the fights I saw last night, man. I was very, very pleased. I hate to be redundant and repeat myself, but it seems like every time I see somebody coming in, I kind of like to go back and recap. Although I'm not going to do that, but anywho, bro. Blood boxing, salute, man, salute. Yeah, a couple of hits on that Toker too to get me nice on a Sunday morning over here. Andrew Charles, my brother, salute. That was an awesome hit right there. I think that one just put me on another plateau. I got the blues in the background here, but yeah, man. This Luis Nunez, he deserves a second look, and Fierro, he was not bad either. This was a slugfest, man. Like I said, 2 undefeated featherweight contenders. And when do you see undefeated fighters go in the ring today? It just doesn't fucking happen, man. People are afraid to lose their and Fierro, he lost the fight. It was a close fight, but Nunez, he had the better offense. He was catching him with body shots, and Fierro, like I said, both undefeated. He was going for the knockout. He had the knockout punch. He never fought anybody like Nunez, and Nunez never fought anybody like Fierro. Anyway, it was an awesome. I thought it was a very, very action-packed, interesting little fight to open up the card. And Nunez had a good trainer, man. I remember his trainer telling him, and he had an interpreter, and the interpreter was right on, and he was saying, box more, just box, don't go for the knockout, hit that body. Very, very good instructions. Whereas Fierro, his corner looked like they were panicking a little bit, man. Looked like they were panicking, and all 3 judges scored the fight 94-96, fair decision, because it was an action-packed fight, and it's one of those fights where Fierro, you could tell he was a puncher. He was just trying to land that right hand, and he thought he won the fight. And he went back to his dressing room. He had tears in his eyes. He didn't believe he lost the fight, but he did. And it was one of those L's that you can wear like a badge of honor. I mean, unless you're one of those picky guys. Oh, he's got an L. Yeah, go ahead. Say he's got an L, and we're going to take him as an easy fight and see what's going to happen. But anyway, man, it was a great way to start that Showtime card. I planted myself in, and then we saw Yo Elvis Gomez, a fucking Cuban, a killer Cuban who's, I think he was 5-0, 5 knockouts, and took on Jorge Kodo. Kodo, we've seen Kodo around before, man. Kodo's fought. He fought Charlo. He fought Fortuna, Fondora. He fought Rosario. He fought Lubin. So he's a veteran, man. And he even said before the fight, he said, how dare they bring me in as an opponent for this kid with 5 fights? So he thought he was going to go in there and school this Elvis Gomez. Yo, Elvis, I like that. And see, Elvis Gomez, his father was a welterweight sensation in Cuba, gold medalist in the early 80s, known as one of the hardest punchers to come out of the Cuban amateur programs. So, I mean, he looked like a Cuban too. He looked like Frank Sanchez. He looked like Ugas. Just had that. I don't know what it is, but it's almost like you can. They look like a Cuban. Anyway, man, Kodo thought he was going to school him. He got chased around the ring. He got battered. The ropes held him up a couple of times, man. Gomez took a very, very, a valuable. He got some rounds under his belt. He was knocking people out. I don't think he ever got past the 3rd round. And in this fight, he went to the scorecards. So he can say he went the distance. He didn't run out of gas. He did have to pace himself. But anyway, it's another cat to be looking out for, keeping your eye on, man. The Cubans, they said they're gonna surprise us a little bit out there, and that made our way for the main event. David Benavidez and David Lemieux, and the thing that impressed a lot of people about Benavidez. And see, around here, that's another one. Around here, there's a lot of Benavidez. We call him Benavidez, not Benavidez. Benavidez is Felix Nunez. I was just talking about your last name, brother. David Benavidez. He came in there. He weighed in at 166, and he said, "See, I want to show you all that I don't have a problem with weight." And he kind of did, man. He looks like he's in a different place right now. He lost his title twice. One time for doing the coke, and one time for eating too many desserts. I think he looks like a man who's matured, a man who's learned from his mistakes, a man who's at peace with himself. He moved out of Phoenix. He moved away from the crazy life. And man, anybody who's grown up, that one of the things you have to do when you clean up your life, you have to make a geographical change. You can't make it easy to just go down the block and see the man and cook up, bro. It's you gotta get away from that scene. And if you're really hot up, then you get in that car and you drive 100 miles to do that shit. But then you're gonna think about it. You're gonna say, fuck, man, I got a beautiful wife, a kid. I get lost in this guitar playing. You're gonna have to excuse me, man. I'm an admirer of guitar playing, and this is just some background music, but it's very cool stuff. And anyway, man, I get lost a little bit, especially with this little buzz that I'm cooking on today here, man. Let me do another hit, man. My wife took off with her sister this morning. I gave her a joint. I said, "There, take that, smoke that with your sister when you're doing what you got to do." They go out and they buy, right now with the springtime coming, I got to give my wife a lot of credit, man. She's trying to make our yard look nice. She's cleaning it up. She's planting flowers in there. I don't give a fuck what it looks like. I don't even like to rake leaves, man. If it was up to me, let the grass grow. Let nature take its course. But I can't do that in the suburbs. You gotta. I spent $300 last year on a fucking lawnmower, battery operated. I lived here. I've been there for so many fucking years, man. 40 years, and I used an electric lawnmower. I bought a gas lawnmower once. I didn't like having gas around. Anyway, last year I went and bought this battery operated lawnmower, man. It was $300. It's bigger than I need. Speaking of bigger than I need, some cat just came in the back here. Let's see if he's got anything to say. If he's just here to give us a hard time. Mad Chad, let me finish my lawnmower story if you don't mind, my brother. was just telling him about the lawnmower that I bought last year. The thing has got to weigh 90 pounds. No propulsion on there. Just me, the propulsion. Wah, wah. But anyway, if it was up to me, I wouldn't even bother cutting the grass or raking the leaves or shoveling the snow. That's all. That's for kids. But anyway, Mad Chad, thank you for coming by, my brother. What's happening, man? What's happening?
Hey, just thankful for today, getting ready to start the day up here in Portland, Maine. Sunny day on this Sunday, and my God, Bruce, what a good day of fights yesterday. I don't know if we had a fight of the year candidate in all of it, but I thought we saw some interesting, fun fights, and it got capped off by the Mexican monster there, as Mike Tyson would call him, man. I mean, just an impressive performance, regardless of who was in there with him. Like just the way the man can throw his hands, the way he just looks so confident, the way he moves like he's been in there 100 times. Like he doesn't look like he looks like a very well-schooled boxer. A lot he does is at a high level, and it was just a fun card, Bruce. It was fun. Nice to see the kid from Maine, fight, kind of turn it on late. Jermaine Ortiz, a nice little prospect there. I thought it was a great day, Bruce. All in all, thank you for having me, and shout out to Mr. Batman. Mr. Page there. No one. It's just sad. Prayers for the family, and that's why we just have to enjoy life. And yeah, that's a tough one when you hear things like that, Bruce. It's just hits you a little. I never met the man, but I did share some time with him, and it's just rest in peace, Mr. Page.
Yes, sir, man. Yes, sir. Mad Chad, you were mentioning earlier about Jermaine. One of your boys up in Maine, was it Bobby Russo?
Yeah, at the Portland Boxing Club, Jermaine came up, or they brought some boxes down to the gym down there in Worcester, wherever Jermaine's out of. And, he just came back. This was about a year ago, maybe couple years back, and I just asked Bobby who's hot in New England, and he did mention the Ortiz kid. He said, he's a tough kid, and he has a high upside. He says where his head goes, who knows? But if he, stays to the grind, the kid can fight. I think he kind of put his name on the map last night by beating an ex-champion. Yes, Herron's at the end of his career there, but he's still a world-class fighter. And Ortiz beat him. And it's a good thing to see a young prospect from our neck of the woods, making a little national news.
Shout out to my brother, the Jedi, who stopped in the building, man. Salute, bro. Mad Chad, we talk about this a lot, man. Me personally, I don't have anybody that I'm a fan of in boxing right now. I sleep, no matter who wins the fight. But man, seeing a homeboy over here going in there under the spotlights, a new name in a sport that we love. He beat a top 5 fighter in the 130-pound division, and he's only in his early 20s. This kid, I liked what I saw. Very humble at the end, I don't know, man. I got excited about the fight. It was, and like I said earlier, it was a great way to open the card, man. It was just a good.
The Cuban kid there, I thought he impressed. He didn't knock the kid out, but that I can't pronounce his name. Kuda, the guy that he fought there, Kodo, Yo Elvis is for real, man. I think that was only his 6th professional fight, but you could see that he knows how to fight, and be interesting to see where he moves. That's another, gleaming, high sailing prospect there.
Now he had his Ismail Salas in his corner too, didn't he?
Absolutely, yep. He had Salas right in there with him, so he's definitely trending up, even though he didn't take the guy out, but that was just a good test, get the rounds in,
Because that was the question mark. He was like, and he was going out there and destroying everybody within 3 rounds. That was the first time in his career that he went beyond 3. So
yeah. That's one of the things you like to see with fighters. When I see, Virgil Ortiz is almost a little exception there, where, hopefully he's healthy and hopefully he get back fighting. But where he stepped up that competition when he fought Maurice Hooker. I'm like, wow, this is a legit cat with a legit camp, you know, a legit fighter. And when I saw Virgil beat Mo Hooker, and then when he fought the guy that fought Bud again, you know, Green Machine, maybe I can't think of all these names, but you know, he got buzzed a little. He got buzzed. I think, you know, he got knocked down maybe. And but the way that these fighters bounce back from adversity, like Benavidez is high on my list. Boots Ennis is so high on my list. Even Shakur so high on my list. But I want to see these guys with some adversity, Bruce. You know what I mean? I can't put them at that level of overcoming major obstacles. You know, last night Benavidez was supposed to look good. You know, he was at home. He was fighting a different level racehorse there, you know, and it was meant for him to, you know, show. But we need to, until I can really get on board with a fighter, Bruce, I need to see that adversity, to see him go through it. You know, just making it to an end of a fight, a 10-round fight, you know, I think that's a big obstacle for a lot of fighters. Then they move up the rank for me. Wow, he can go the distance. He can go. That's just something to be said. But I want to see Benavidez get cut, get knocked down, get up, down on the cards. You know what I mean, Bruce? That's where the champions, that's where you really see the legends made. You know, it's hard to become a legend if you just kind of cakewalk your way to greatness. You know, you have to challenge yourself. And shout out to Canelo for that big fight with Bivol. Yeah, us casuals, we don't know who Bivol is, but boxing fans, they know who this man is, and they know it's a whole different weight class for a reason. I mean, Canelo fought Floyd Mayweather. Now he's fighting fucking a big Russian lightweight. I mean, you know, Bruce, that he was going for greatness there because he could have went the other route. It ain't about money with him, and I think he might have just bit off more than he could chew, but he went for greatness. And I just want to see more of that with these fighters. Like Boots Ennis needs to fight somebody fucking good, you know, not taking away, you know, David Benavidez. You got to fight somebody good.
So many fights that we want to see, and Benavidez last night, he was talking 3 people that he wants to fight. His advisor, his promoter. He said it's either going to be he said he doesn't even want to hear it with Canelo anymore. Now that could have been almost like almost like a
reverse psychology.
There we go. But the names that he mentioned, I'd love to see him fight Billy Joe or Caleb Plant. Or Charlo, those would be great fights. But then
David Morrell, I want to see him fight the Cuban guy. I like the way they mentioned Morrell. Yeah, no, but you were right on, Bruce. You were right on.
Yes, see, but are we going to see those fights? That's the thing. There's always somebody like they throw a Joseph Parker in there. I mean, excuse me. They just throw different names in there, and we're supposed to say, oh, great. But it takes 2 to tango, and all these top fighters, man. I just want to see them get together. I just want to see these fights made. I think fucking Benavidez, he seems like he's just getting better and better. He's improving with every fight right now, and he's only 25 years old, and he's got the experience, the resume. I mean, I think he's the best.
The maturity, Bruce, the maturity to the mental to physical is 4:1, and I really think this young Benavidez has gotten that, you know, with his baby, with it seems like he's really happy in a good spot. And I'll tell you, if a fighter ain't in a good spot outside the ring, it's hard to be at 100% in the ring. You know, it's just, and we saw what happened to him before when he was a train wreck out of the ring. You see boxers, they just fall apart. And thank God the kid matured. Because like you say, Bruce, he's trending up. He seems to be getting better and better. And he's a problem with this mental state that he's in. He's a problem for anybody. I think he beats everybody at 168. I honestly do. You know, and take Canelo out of the equation because I love the way that they mentioned it. We're not fighting him. Take his name out of the mouth. He ain't on our fucking list. And I love that. I love the names that we mentioned. Let's see if we can get one of those 3 because that would be great for the sport.
For sure, bro. For sure, man. Hey, shout out to my brother JC out there, man. JC, I haven't seen you on Wednesday nights anymore, bro. Please come back, man. You have a great show out there, man.
Wednesday night, Bruce. What do you got going on Wednesday night?
Oh, I go to see JC, the 3-headed monster, but he's taking
Wednesday nights.
Yeah, I mean, I go all over the place, man. I have to kind of cool myself a little bit, bro. Cool myself a little because I go everywhere. Sometimes people say I spread myself too thin, but I love it, Mad Chad. I love sharing the love, supporting anybody we can out there, man. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
and I like different opinions, man. I love conflicting opinions. Keep it real. Talk boxing, because who the hell wants to hear everybody praising the same fighter? He can do no wrong, man. That's not what boxing's about. It's a conflict, and really that's what the debates are about. They're about how you feel a fight's going to go and how I feel a fight's going to go. And bro, I mean, I can't even remember I can't remember anything serious ever happening about a disagreement in fights. Man, I remember Sugar Ray Leonard and Hearns. That was the biggest 50-50 fight that I've lived through on a scale like that. And everybody, and I thought Hearns was going to win myself. I had seen Sugar Ray Leonard, but I just thought that big right hand was going to do it. And I think I made bets and everything else. But at the end of the day, I can't even remember who I argued with. But yet on here, if you mentioned the wrong fighter, it's crazy. People are just they're just too much involved in the fighters and the teams they're riding with, and not the actual fighting itself.
And like you say, Bruce, just the best. Like no one remembers. The 80. Everybody remembers the '86 Celtics team. With Bird, McHale, everybody. But no one remembers them beating on the Atlanta Hawks or the Pacers. They remember them playing the Lakers with Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, James Worthy, because it was the best versus the best. We got to see the best of Magic Johnson, the best of Larry Bird, because when the greats face each other, they rise to the challenge. Like a lot of fighters, they look regular against someone they should just run through because they're fighting to the level of their competition. You see it in all pro sports. If you're out there, you can kind of go through the motions and win if you just know you're better. When the best face the best, like Roger Clemens facing, on the mound in the World Series, he's trying his hardest. The best is trying his hardest. Everything's at stake: legacy, money, advertisement deals. That's where it needs to happen with these fighters. And I wish they could realize that, because you're not going to find, yes, Benavidez should be applauded, but these guys need to fight the best just in order for the legacy, for the money, for the shelf life they have as a world champion, because it's very short-lived.
And boxing is the only sport that can get away with not presenting that. Any other sport, it comes down to the playoffs, the World Series, the Super Bowl, the Final Four. I mean, that's just the way it goes. We always pick the best in our country. But college football, there's always the mediocre teams get weeded out. But yet in boxing,
the best plays, the best competition in the finals. You know what I mean? And that's why, like that heavyweight thing you did, Bruce. With that elimination, the tournament style. It's just it's a great way to weed out the weak. You know what I mean? See who the cream will rise to the top. Let them just fight each other, and there's no shame from losing. Just because you lose, sometimes your stock will go up. A lot of these fights, after a loss, more doors can open, just for the fact other people will want to fight you. Wow, hey, who knows? And then it could be a humbling experience. A lot of these fighters need the taste that loss to see how they can come back. Ali said it ain't getting knocked down. That ain't shameful. Just staying down, shameful. How are you going to bounce back from adversity? I just want to see the best fight the best, because that's when you see the greatest fights. That's when you see everybody watching. And legacies built, legends built. You will remember the fights forever.
I learned a lot from the brother John Page, who just passed away. He knew the business of boxing. He knew why these fights weren't being made, the financial reasons, how contracts, dealing with promoters and dealing with matchmakers. He would try to explain that shit to me, and I'd say, yeah, Batman, but we want to see the best fight the best. Back when Don King was running the show, he would make him and Arum, they hated each other. Oil and water, but they'd make the fights. He's but that's not the way it is anymore. It's not just King and Arum. It's King's lawyers, and it's the sponsorships. I mean, he's explaining this to me, why the fighters weren't fighting more often. And unfortunately, that's what boxing has turned into. I don't think we're ever going to see a Don King tournament or anything that's going to resemble that again. That's why what we've been having lately. I've been accepting that gratefully because I think it's the best that they're going to give us. And I mean, I don't care if it's pay-per-view. I don't care if you. I mean, we get them all. We share links. Boxing has to wake up and understand that they're not going to make their money on pay-per-views because we have the internet. Anybody that knows how to use a phone, a tablet, you can get a fight in. Shit, man, we were. The biggest argument we were having was, damn, my stream's 30 seconds quicker than your stream is. But I don't know, man. I think the whole business of boxing needs a total
overhaul. But like you say, Bruce, I don't even know how they get these pay-per-view numbers. I'm thinking, yeah, unless you own a bar or something, and then I don't even know if you can legally do it. I don't even know the rules. But I just know I don't know how anybody's paying money unless you're just a millionaire. Because it ain't illegal. All you got to do is ask Alexa.
Bro, all you have to do is type strikeout TV into Google, and you're going to get yourself free pay-per-views. Anything in the world. Jay Kodo, my brother. Salute, man. Salute.
Yo, Bruce, what's going on, man? What's going on, Chad? How you gentlemen doing today?
Couldn't be better. I'm alive, man.
We're right. That's right. Yeah, we're alive. We're still farting. Everything's good, bro. Hell yeah. Yeah, I just want to say, man, as well. I want to add on. There was a circus show in Dubai, man, and you guys had to see that, man. I mean, I actually wasted a good 30 minutes of my life that I'll never gain back from watching it, but it was interesting because we were able to see Gary Ganu, aka Floyd Mayweather Jr., just basically do what no other boxer has done, and that's one, talk to the crowd while boxing. Literally, you can hear him having conversations while boxing. Two, grab the ref and tell him exactly how to do his job. Three, grab the ring card girl's ring card and do it himself in the middle of a boxing match now. And I totally gotta say, man, and most of y'all have to agree with me on this, okay? Pacquiao, his legacy is way greater. Okay, this is not coming from a Pactard. This is not coming. You know why? Because Pacquiao he had longevity. He didn't take any gimmicks. Floyd, if he was doing all of this and fighting young boxers like this that are undefeated, why didn't he just stay in the sport of boxing? He would have made more money. It's asinine to me at certain points with this guy, But it's stuff like that that's really putting a bruise on the sport of boxing as well, And like I was telling Blood, man, we got to keep that out of the dick puller's hands. You know what I mean? It was Bruce, Chad. It was a fucking circus show, man. It's something that would have made you smack your forehead with your palm about 20 times, man.
Yeah, I almost totally forgot about it. I was going to watch it last weekend when it was on, but I guess the king of Dubai died or something like that, and it was postponed for a week. And I was in Mad Chads. We were watching. I don't know if we were watching boxing or talking about boxing, one or the other. But Double A came in there and he said, "Oh, he's got to go to the Floyd fight. It's on this weekend." And he thought we were nuts not going to see Floyd. I mean, shit, man. We saw Floyd when he was a fucking prospect, when he was a contender, he was a champion, when he should have retired, when he was a cherry picker, and now we're gonna see him as an old man fucking doing exhibitions. Nah. Sorry.
Yeah, man. And whoever paid for that, you're a fucking dummy. You gotta be the biggest fucking moron, bro. You were better off donating that to charity, bro. You know what I'm saying?
On a Saturday afternoon, 90 degrees in New England, I just can't imagine. And honest to God, Jay, I can't imagine one person that I know who even knew that fight was happening, never mind bought it.
Yeah, exactly. Like I thought that shit was happening last week, but it got canceled and I guess it happened yesterday. And I was just like, why didn't it just stay canceled? Like, let me tell you, the pay-per-view numbers are gonna come by way of Flomos, the old Flomos, the guys that still follow Gervonta Davis and in a fanatical manner. Guys that are just tribalistic and shit like that. That's where those numbers are gonna come from. And I guess he's okay with all 380,000 plus.
I don't even think it was. I don't even think it was money. I think it was probably Prince Abdullah's son's fucking wife's wedding present. Well, no, let's put a Floyd Mayweather fight on for you. Ah, yes. They don't care if they lose fucking money.
Yeah, those guys
tack the fucking oil barrels up another $25, right? I mean, really, bro. I don't see that as a money making fucking thing. I just see that as Floyd going and getting his check and coming home and let the Saudis worry about the fucking money.
Oh yeah, and I want you guys, look, if you guys want a good laugh, because I'm very good with observing, right? Check this out. Go to that fight, pull up an overhead shot, the way they kept putting the camera overhead, pause it, take a good look at Floyd Mayweather's hairline. You can actually see where the hair transplant starts, Bruce and Chad. I kid you not. You can actually see where the line from the pubic hair starts, bro.
Blood boxing, my brother. What's happening?
Hey, man,
Blood.
Somebody's got an echo on your microphone, man.
Go ahead, Bruce. What'd you say?
I'm just saying, blood. What the fuck's happening, my brother?
Hey, man, I'm doing really good. I see you got that Toker too there, man. Shout out to you, shout out to Jay Kodo, and shout out to Mad Chad, man. Good to be on here with y'all. Chop it up a little bit. I had no idea that Floyd Mayweather fought yesterday. For real? Are y'all joking or is that?
Nah, yo, blood, it was a fucking circus show, bro. And these commentators, bro, in your words, sir, these guys were grade A fucking gold medalist dick pullers, bro. Let me explain something to you. How was it in the middle of the fight? Because it's they have these little arenas where you can hear the echo, right? He's talking to the crowd, people asking him questions while he's boxing. I kid you not. He goes and tells the ref, I think it was Kenny Bayless, I think it was, that he took with him. He was telling him how to do his job because he kept hitting the kid below the belt. At the same time, he takes the ring card girl's ring card and starts parading around with it. I mean, it was a fucking circus, guy.
Damn, boy, I don't want to see that shit, man. More power to him if he can still go out there and get money, but it's not nothing serious. That's just show business at this time. So I didn't even have any idea he was fighting. Ain't nobody talking about that shit no more. Sound like me.
Yep. And he looked like a fucking Jim Henson Muppet, bro. Bro, you could see the hairline from where the transplant starts on his fucking head, bro. If y'all want to have a good laugh, go to that fight because it's already on YouTube and pause it. And you will see the hairline transplant, bro. I'm like, bro, you were better off with the goatee and the shaved head looking like Louis Gossett Jr.
Conchonery, bro. Salute, man. Hey, did you guys see that they finally got a date and a site for the Usyk and the Anthony Joshua rematch?
Yep, they said that yesterday. They said that yesterday on that circus show. They said somewhere in I think it was July or August.
In Dubai. It's fucking July 23rd.
Nice.
So
they need to hurry up and get this shit squared away so we can get a unification at heavyweight and have an undisputed heavyweight champion, something we ain't had since Lennox Lewis, and something that boxing really needs at this time, an undisputed heavyweight champion, because at one time, the face of boxing was always the heavyweight champion. Let's get back to that. Let's get the biggest man out there, the baddest motherfucker on the planet, to have all the motherfucking belts. That's the way it should be, man.
Facts.
He's going to beat Anthony Joshua. He's going to end up fighting Tyson Fury, in my opinion.
I see it like this, gentlemen. Either winner of that Usyk Joshua fights spanks Fury. Bottom line, spanks Fury. You know why? Because of the activity that these two gentlemen have had in their career. And he can have Sugar Hill, he can have crunk boxing all he wants, but it's just the way you're calloused in that ring, and both of these gentlemen are going in there. I mean, this is an historic match. Look, you've got Usyk, who would have beaten, twice, a two-time former heavyweight champion. Okay, not only beating him, taking his title and regaining, and should I say retaining his title. Then you have Anthony Joshua that if he beats Usyk, he'll be the only man in boxing in the heavyweight history to have tied up the 3-time fucking, former heavyweight champion of the world, the greatest Muhammad Ali. This is history. This is history, this match.
I'm with Blood, man. I just want to see these guys fight. I mean, how can anybody accept Tyson Fury as the heavyweight champ when he fights once every year? And when he does fight once a year, who does he fight? Fucking Dillian White? I mean, damn. How could you get excited? I was trying to get excited. I was trying to freaking induce myself into excitement, and I couldn't do it. And the fight was such a letdown when I saw it. I'm like, man, we're gonna wait another fucking year.
And then he's complaining. He pushed me, man. Shut up, bro. Instead of you chasing Anthony Joshua after Anthony Joshua not only beat you, he knocked you the fuck out the first fight. You felt like you were entitled to a second match when everybody was telling you at the time, go for that WBC, go for Wilder. What are you doing? What are you doing? But you thought since you were close to home and Joshua was close to home that you could keep fucking, harassing him. And what happened? He turned his back on you because he already knocked you the fuck out. Plus, that match would have been worthless. Would have been worthless.
I will never forget, man. Ali is saying to Joe Frazier, what kind of a champ are you? You fight once every 7 months. Once every 7 months.
Was pretty inactive though for the 70s guys.
I know it was, Blood, but for today,
guys, he was inactive. But the thing about it is, man, with the Dillian White situation, Bruce, the only reason that fight took place is because of all these stupid people with that sanctioning body shit. Oh, he's been for 900 days or whatever. He's been number one, and they were mixing up number one and mandatory and all kinds of stuff. I mean, it was a mess, man. It was a mess. The sanctioning bodies and the fans had to do with that. Everybody knew that Dillian White was not heavyweight champion material, right? But I guess he had to do that to satisfy the politics of boxing.
Yeah.
Ranking system, basically.
Yeah.
Dillian White was at the very top and had not fought. Nobody in that top 10 had he fought at one time. There was one time during that stretch, I did a video on it. He didn't fight nobody in the top 10. But this is what they continued to push. And it just sat there and it lingered for too long, bro. And now we ready to see an undisputed heavyweight champ because the shit is starting to get boring now. It's going back to the Klitschko era.
Hell yeah. And I just want to bring it back to when Deontay Wilder was reigning WBC champion, right? How they held up the division by giving Bermane Stiverne a rematch, right? And this goes to, adding on to what Blood just finished saying. We're fed up and we've seen the politics, bro. The rules are 90 days. After 90 days, you don't activate your rematch clause. You're done. They waited what, a year and a half, 2 years, bro, to give Bermane Stiverne his 90-day. Mind you, it's late by a year and a couple of months. You want to come and give this man a rematch after it's ridiculous, bro. And then let's talk about Lemieux. Let's talk about real fast Tyson Fury's self-proclaimed Lemieux, which we know don't exist anymore, but he's trying to keep it alive. Okay, that's his little a bag or whatever, to continue to say. But we all know he's not, simply because the rules state in order for you to become Lemieux, you have to stay active. Who was out of boxing for 2.5 years? Only defeated himself. This I got to give to him. But who? It was him. So Lemieux was dead. The first year he didn't show up with them gloves on.
Yeah, the linear championship has always been it's a mythical belt, but it really is the ultimate champion. If you have legitimate claim to the linear title, I always thought it was, man. I always thought the man who beat the man who beat the man. All the other champions, they're, like we call Devin Haney, they're the email champions, basically. Because who did you beat to get that title? When you beat the man who beat the man, that's cemented your legacy. And, I know, when fighters retire undefeated. But the thing is, man, when they did do that, back in the day, Bob Arum would throw a heavyweight tournament together. When Ali was stripped of his title, he got the best heavyweights together. And Frazier didn't want any part of it, but he says, I'll take on the winner because I'm the heavyweight champion. And man, within a year, fucking Frazier fought Jimmy Ellis. And once again, there was a undisputed for the time until Ali came back into the picture. But it wasn't confusing. It was fucking simple. Now you got your fucking interim champion. You got your silver champion.
Bruce,
Fucking,
who's the undisputed champ at 168? Canelo?
right now is Canelo for sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
David
Canelo. Yeah.
Benavidez had 10 fucking belts last night. I'm thinking, what the fuck are all these belts?
I know
Those are
was
trinkets.
ridiculous right there. To show him with 3 belts, and listen, man, Benavidez, he lost his belts twice. That's the only reason why it's he's already been a 2-time champ. He let himself lose them belts, man. One time for because he had drugs in the system, street drugs, and then the other time is because he couldn't make weight. And then he's going around carrying these belts when we got an undisputed champ. That confuses the shit out of the people who sitting at home. Why they think actually there was someone, I'm glad you brought that up. There was someone watching the fight with us yesterday, and he was like, hey man, damn, this guy, he's got 3 of the belts. I'm like, no, he don't got 3 of the belts. Canelo got all the motherfuckers. So I don't understand why he's opening all the 3 of them. That shit pissed me off last night.
Yo, fellas, did you notice that all 3 of those belts were from the Boxing Commission, aka WBC? You noticed that?
Yep.
All the trinket makers themselves. Yep, the trinket makers themselves, bro.
Hey, back to the lineal lines, though. The problem is with the lineal is that most of those lines have been broken over the years. And back in the day, to get the line back intact, you had to put together some kind of a tournament, like what Bruce said. You got to go back in there and establish who the man is by having the best fight the best and establishing an undisputed champion. That used to be the rule. Now that all those lines have been broken, these fighters, they don't want to get together and unify, so it fucks up the whole lineal thing, right? Because they don't put the lines back intact. So when Tyson Fury's going around calling himself the lineal heavyweight champion, that's bullshit, because the lines were never put back right because of the 2 brothers. They wouldn't fight each other, right?
Yup.
It fucked everything up with that, and it's happened in pretty much every division.
Well, you know, another big problem is we have it's a 4-belt era, and to get these 4 belts to all sign to fight for one unified title. Can you imagine what they have to pay for their sanctioning fees?
I always tell this story, gentlemen, and this is a good story, and it's a true story. It's always a good story in case you don't understand the sanctioning fees to holding them belts. Miguel Cotto, before he fought Canelo Alvarez, he threw that, I think it was the WBA or the WBO. He said, listen, I'm gonna just give this title up because I'm tired of paying $300,000 fucking dollars every 2 to 3 months in order to hold this shit. That's their sanctioning fee right there. So that's a good lesson right there to understand that if good fighters, let's just say Canelo says, fuck this, man, I'm tired, I don't want to hold this shit no more, you know, and he gives that shit up, that's exactly why. It's not because he's scared, it's just that shit costs money. Only motherfucker that really had no problem paying that shit, and I'm almost sure he wasn't paying because he was bringing money to Vegas, which they're stationed in Vegas, was the green belt trinket makers themselves, the WBC.
Yeah, but see, we're gonna honor that because we're the ones who want to see unified. If we just wanted to see the best, if we wanted to see the best there is, why don't they make those fights and not even mention the belts? I remember, I don't know if any of you guys are old enough to remember, but CBS was doing that for a while. They would just say a world title. They wouldn't say a WBA, a WBC, and they were hoping.
They didn't used to do it, Bruce, at all. They didn't used to say WBA, WBC in the early '80s. They didn't do it.
Right.
They would do it in the late '70s. They would just say, like when Carlos Monzon vacated and retired, they just said Rodrigo Valdez and Benny Briscoe are fighting for the world middleweight title. They didn't distinguish that there was a WBC and a WBA there, even though the WBC wanted to run a tournament and the WBA was just like give the winner the belt. So that kind of stuff they kind of kept out of the media. They tried to downplay the fact that there was 2 belts for a few decades. They did that, man. They tried to downplay that they had 2 belts, man. Go back to any video that's from the 1970s fight film, and they have a undisputed champ. They don't mention that they're undisputed and none of that. They just say the middleweight champ. You know, that's all they'll say.
Bro, and you mentioning that just made me fucking, you know, I mean, I've been realized it, but it's more of a realization when you sit back and say, damn, bro, let me open boxing's closet God damn, look at all these fucking skeletons. Like the shit that they pulled, the shit that they've held from us, and then we got to do our research, and we come to find out it's some shit that I understand why a lot of fans walked away from the sport, man. You know, it gets confusing, frustrating. You know, you really gotta love this shit like we do in order to stick in there. It's okay to walk away from it once in a while, take a breather, but we always come back to, you know, to hang in there and to keep putting up with the bullshit and debunking the shit, because a lot of these guys, they gotta understand there is no ranking system anymore, bro. It's to the promotions and whoever the promotions in bed with, as to, you know, the commissions and shit. It's up to them who they wanna skip, and that shit's been happening since like the early 90s, when that, I keep forgetting that fighter's name that sued the WBC for $40 million and won because they took his ranking away and gave it to someone else. Yeah, there we go, for their benefit.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's great. Man, Bruce, right now I got some fucking weed out this motherfucking world right now that I'm hitting right now, boy. This shit is on another level, man. I'm telling you, I saved it for the right time to come onto your show. And you got yours too, yeah. I'm smoking.
Oh, hey, bro, I have one of the cats who's in my chat, man. He sent me some edibles, bro. And motherfucker, you can't buy edibles like that around here. One of these gummies is the equivalent of a whole tin of what I can get at the commissary. I was flying high on these edibles for about 5-6 days, man. Really, I was like wasted. I give my wife 2 of them, and she go to bed at 6 o'clock at night and told me she slept like a baby the next day. And I was revving on those things, but I got some good weed now too, and it gave me a chance to clear my lungs out for 6 days. And I don't know, maybe my receptors are working better, but I'm getting blasted now. What kind of bud you got, my brother?
Oh man, I got some. I think it's just it's an OG strand. What I got right now, it's an OG strand. It's really good. It's got it's got the white tint to it, man. The little green white tint. It's really good shit, bro.
Yeah, I got some
heavy shit right. I'm smoking right now. I had to put it on mute because I'm fucking coughing my lungs out.
Yeah, I got some OG Kush over here, and this shit, I'm just relaxed, bros. A fucking sativa strand. I'm chilling, brothers.
Yeah, man. I see you got that blunt roll tight, bro. You know, that's how we do it down here. I've never seen the blunt before, but Bruce got that Toker 2 though. He got that Toker 2 in full effect.
Yeah, that's the bud I'm puffing on right now.
Oh yeah.
Beautiful. Oh, Christmas tree.
Got a little bit of red in there.
Yeah.
It looks good.
With this camera, I think you have to put your hand behind it so it focuses.
There you go. Now we can see it. Now we can see it.
Yep. There we go.
Now we can really see it. Right.
Very nice. I like the orange strands it got there. Nice.
And you know, it's nice. It's nice and spongy too. It's not.
Yes, it is. I like it.
Yeah. And when you break it up, it's nice and sticky. Hell yeah.
Sometimes though, the orange strands, man, I've smoked some weed that's had too much of them orange strands, and it's not as good to me. If it's like all orange strands in that bitch, man, I got hold of some shit one time that I didn't think was that good. It just was all orange. It was like almost orange colored, the weed and shit. But I love marijuana, man. I'm just like y'all too, man. I love it.
I'll tell you why that is, blood. What happens is the more orangey it gets, that means it's getting overly matured. These cats that I know who grow, they have to stop it from getting too orange because then it starts to lose its potency. It looks really pretty. You know, you can get these fucking bags that have fucking multicolors in them, but if you don't harvest it before that, like I said, that those little orange things are taking fucking I don't know, but they're extracting THC, and if there's too much orange, they waited too long to harvest it. That's just something that my friends who have the greenhouses have been. I mean, they've turned this stuff into a fucking science, bro. You know, it ain't like we can go. It ain't like the old days of driving down the street and copping a fucking nickel bag, and you know, hey, it's either going to be good or it's going to be commercial. No. Now you've got fucking 50 strains at the dispensary when you walk in. You just the smell when you walk in there is like, whoa, fucking intoxicating. But I don't know, man. Weed. The therapeutic effects to it keeps me in check, keeps my marriage together because my wife loves to she's a stoner too, and you know, whenever we get in an argument, we just pass a couple of these back and forth, and before I know it, we don't even know what the fuck we were arguing about, you know?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I was reading in your comment section here. There was some comment I just saw that I was interested in. Fucking A, man. I lost it, bro. Damn.
Oh,
hey, man, shout out to Get This Smoke. Why don't you come on here and talk with the OGs, man? Shit.
yeah, bro. Yeah, he mentioned he was going to. I'll drop a link, bro. I'll open up the doors,
right
man.
Get This Smoke is my homie, man. He's in his 50s. You could tell too, but you know talking that shit. Come on here.
I heard him talking to Miles Davis this morning. I had the who the hell's got the fuck Jedi? Is that you with the echo there, bro? You got to take that.
Is it me? Is it me? Can you hear me now?
Not yeah, I can hear you now.
We can hear you. Yeah, we
got. Oh, I can hear an echo though. Yeah.
Hold on. Talk again. See if you hear an echo. I'm gonna mute mine. Go ahead.
Hey, Jedi. I can't hear an echo when you mute yours.
All right, I'm gonna jump off and come back on.
Not a problem, bro. Not a problem.
Okay. Man. Sorry about that. Sorry, guys.
There he is, man. I got an honored guest that just popped on here, man.
Oh, there you go.
First time on. First time.
First time over. Weed and boxing rolled up in this joint, man. Get this right. Yeah, that's what's happening, man. Thanks for the invite, and I see all that greenery in the background. Reminds me of my misspent youth and also a life well spent.
Yes, sir. And you out there on the West Coast too. You got it good.
Not only do I have it good, but man, that's where I made my bones. I was like, I supplied one of the first dispensary, actually the first dispensary, Dennis Perone in San Francisco. I'm Prop 215 all the way to adult use. Dispensaries from all up and down the California, like 93 to 2019. That was my bag, baby.
From 93, you said? 93?
Yes, sir.
Damn, bro, you've been doing this shit for a long time. I know who I need to holler at when I come out to the West Coast if I want some real good smoke, man. Right?
Oh yeah. Oh man, that's man. We just moved on, man. I came out of the Warriors game the other day, and I was offered in full view of the cops, right? Like just the hordes of people coming out of the arena. They were saying weed, mushrooms, and edibles. They were just screaming that shit. Like, yeah, I got you.
Damn. Boy, see that shit right here will get us arrested around here. Me and Jay Kodo, we got it real bad down here in Florida.
Oh yeah,
medical. But I mean, we good though, right, Jay? Because we got the streets behind us.
Hell yeah.
They just legalized it in it's medical marijuana. We've had that. I get this fucking card. This is what keeps me out of jail right here, bro. I pay I don't know $100 or so every fucking 4 years, but anyway. They just passed a bill 2 or 3 days ago. The Senate and the House just passed it where they're gonna legalize recreational use. So you're gonna see fucking pot shops everywhere because in Massachusetts, right over the border, it's legal. In Connecticut, on the other border, it's legal. Rhode Island realized they lost fucking $4 or $5 billion last year in fucking taxes. 4 or 5 with a B, not with an M. And they had an emergency fucking sessions, and they said by December 1st they'll have the first legit shops open. They have them now, but you have to have that card. And the shit that they have now, man, the concentrates. I don't know if you guys ever did that. The dabs.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's like fucking 95% pure THC when you're sucking that shit up. Where a joint of real good stuff is 20%, maybe a little higher. But I mean that fucking dab shit, man.
Yeah, I quit smoking for. Blunt. What about you, Jay? You put that in the dabs in your? I know Smoke know all about that.
Hell yeah, the dabs and also the keef, right? I got a dude of mine who has good keef, and you can buy that, yeah, bro. And I put the keef, man, and even the hash where you gotta put the lighter to it and then rub it out like a Play-Doh and then chop it up and put it inside. It's all THC, bro. So sometimes my shit is like, it's like how do you say? It's like cork. It's like a cork bat. I cork my shit with all types of fucking dab oil and fucking hash and shit, like and little keefs on it. Yeah, man. Florida, bro, you just gotta know who to go to. You know what I'm saying? Blood knows what it is. You just gotta have that good connect, man.
Solid connection.
Yeah.
So the
4 or 5
connections.
The keef is like a silk screen thing, right? So you just put the buds on a silk screen and you shake it,
No,
and then you
see,
get
Keith
and
originally, it was invented in Morocco, and what they would do is they would send the fucking women, they'd put like raincoats on them and send them running through the pot fields, and when they came off, they had the pollen on them, and they'd scrape it off with a playing card, and that was keef. They'd collect that, and that's how they originally had keef, Moroccan keef. You know, I was smoking that shit in the early '70s, for Christ's sake. And it was actually considered a low grade hash. You know, we were getting stuff from Nepal and from Afghanistan. Fucking hash, you take 3 hits of this fucking shit, and you'd see fucking the windows would start to sway with the breeze.
Yeah, exactly. So really, what it is like the broken trichrome heads, right? Like after you're growing it, like you would see the as your bud matures, you get yourself a jeweler's loop, and you look at the leaves, and you'll see like a milky white substance on the leaf, and then you'll see a stem with a sort of a bulbous head, right? And that's your trichromes, and you can do any number of like ways to you can use solvents to like bind those trichromes, and that's what your dabs are. Like usually they're like use butane or some other kind of solvent to like pack that in, or you can use some sort of natural thing, either running through fields with jackets like Bruce just described, or like I was saying, you can use a silk screen and you just shake the buds out, and then you get like you'll get just the trichrome heads. But depending on you can't really get too fine a filter. You're gonna get some kind of leaf material in that thing, so like you have to still separate the leaf material from that thing. But like he was saying, low grade hash. But if you ever trim weed, like you can also get scissor hash. You just like scrape the resin off of the scissors. That's also like some of the best like low grade, but like high grade you can get.
You can get it. You can do that also inside of your crusher.
A friend of mine who's now passed.
Echo.
That's Jedi, I think. A friend of mine who's now deceased used to get medical grade ether, and he used to distill like 5 pounds of weed into 1 gram of oil, and you could take the tiniest drop of this fucking oil, and this was back before we had the like vaporizers, so you had the external heating source, and we used to use those like ceremonial Japanese charcoals and all that shit. You
Was
drop
it like
it on
90s?
Bro,
90s,
yeah.
early 2000s?
Bro, have you ever heard of an isomerizer?
Say again?
Have you ever heard of an isomerizer?
Is that the
Well, what it is, bro, it's an extractor, and it uses isopropyl alcohol.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Right, exactly. Yeah.
Light bulb. It's like a pressure cooker. They were big back in the 70s. High Times used to sell them. They were about $150. I bought one, and they were that was the original hash oil. You could take weed, you could extract the oil from that. You isomerize it, where you're dealing with fucking muriatic acid. You gotta wear goggles when you fuck with this stuff, and rubber gloves. But anyway, you do that. You extract the oil from the fucking hash that you made, and you have hash oil that's as good. I don't know if you guys ever smoked like Afghani hash oil or fucking Lebanese cherry red hash oil. This stuff would make fucking Bob Marley's head spin. It was that strong. You had a special pipe to smoke it out of. But I used to make that stuff, but it was so fucking shaky. You know, you're dealing with I had it on my kitchen table. My landlord came up. I told him I was making perfume, extracting the fucking rose petals. He believed me. He didn't give a fuck. But I'm dealing with something that's vital that could blow the fucking apartment up. But the end product was kick ass, and all that shit they're making now, the dabs. Fucking people around here were making that, and they're blowing their apartments up. Fucking butane on the stove and shit. You know, it's a pretty fucking sophisticated operation. If you don't know what you're doing, bro, you don't want to fuck with that stuff.
Hell yeah, and you can
have
also
this, like essential oil, like you have all these sort of machines for it. Because I'm in California, so it's all like legal. You can get your either it's a solvent or a non-solventless process. Like if you're for all your processing cannabis, right? And it's like different licenses. But yeah, if you're messing with that butane, you'd get like 150 yards of like snake of butane gas. Any spark. It wasn't a matter of if, it was just a matter of when. Back in the day, like so many tales of like burnt, like 3rd-degree burns and blown up fucking spots, like literally blown up. Yeah, that was the thing. So you said High Times. I was like part of. Do you know 2B1 Productions? Are you familiar with that, Bruce?
No, I used to buy High Times back in the
I
fucking
used to buy High
70s.
Times. Me too.
Okay, yeah, no. So yeah,
The Bud, the Centerfold.
They used to do the Amsterdam Cannabis Cup.
Oh yeah.
For everybody.
Yeah, for sure, bro.
They would they
I remember the first one.
contracted, right, so they contracted my friend's company 2B1. So I did that for I don't know, like 4 years. Yeah, like being a judge and
You went to Afghanistan? I mean, you went to fucking
I was in India, and I got a whole bunch of stuff from there.
Cool shit,
I went all
bro.
the way to the Himalayas, right? Like through Kashmir and like all that stuff, like seeing the Kashmiri process for making it. I've been to Morocco and the Moroccan thing of it, right?
You know what a chillum is?
Yeah, of course. You hold it with your hands, and then you smoke with your fists. You don't put your mouth.
Little stone inside.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's Indian shit. And they'll put they'll do a cannabis and then some tobacco and then some hash on top of it. They'll do, like, there's all kinds of mixtures, like, with the
bro. I mean, I've been smoking weed since fucking 1969. So,
69 is your...
Yeah, that's 2 years before I'm born.
First year, what year did you start with the smoking weed?
1979. 1979.
I was already dealing fucking pounds in 1979, for Christ's sakes.
No, so that wasn't until high school in like 84.
Derek Bailey, salute, brother.
Damn,
84,
bro.
I graduated in 72. My 50th year reunion's coming up in a couple of months. I think I'm going to go blow their fucking minds. They're probably all going to be fucking walkers and probably have to have nursing attendants bringing them in. Fucking, there'll be a steak, throw it in the blender. I mean, fuck. It's going to be, I've never been to a high school reunion in my life.
Oh,
and,
man.
I was smoking weed with my teachers and everything back then. So let's see what's up. They're all dead, I'm sure, but.
Nothing inspires you to drink more than a high school reunion.
What's that, bro?
I said nothing inspires you to drink more than a high school reunion.
Oh,
I went to like 20 years, and I don't know if I'll go back to another. But yeah, it was weird. I was the weed man in high school. I was the weed man all the way until like the pandemic started. Like,
I never went to one fucking high school reunion. Everybody,
I haven't went yet. I was gonna go to my 30 year. It just came up, my 30 year, and look, I missed it though. I was gonna go because I'm right here in town, but I've already seen enough of them busters around town, so I ain't going to that shit. So
I just got this in the mail last week.
Nice.
Fucking 5-0, bro. I said, what the fuck, man? I said to the old lady, hey man, let's go, bro. Let's go get some fucking duds and make the scene. She's like, what the fuck? Why not? I haven't seen these people in 50 years.
Hey man, I respect y'all's word.
You know what I'm gonna say? I'm gonna look at some of these girls and say, hey man, you know how many nuts I've blown thinking about you? Say shit.
And no filter. That's what it is. She was going.
Hey bro, this is the 70s.
Hang out.
I tell you what, man, the weed. See, the difference with me and you guys been on the production side of shit and all kinds. So I don't know nothing about growing marijuana, because I've only ever been purchasing the shit. And all I don't remember is the weed has changed over the years, though, because I started purchasing in the 80s. And back in them days, I used to pull out nothing but a bunch of seeds and stems and shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't know nothing about the how y'all, produce marijuana and nothing like that. I just was, if I could get hold of some good shit back then, it was harder to get hold of some good shit, man. And to get some hash oil was really hard in the 1990s. Every now and then, I stumbled across it. I live in Florida. I just didn't have the right connection, I guess, to get the hash oil and shit like that, man. But I did get it a few times, bro. Some real good. And another thing, too, that I'm pissed off about with weed is I think every state, it should be the same rules, man, because it's unfair. How can I be a full American when Smoke could walk right outside his house and go and get some weed and there ain't no problems? But around here, you get a charge for that shit, man. So it's fucked up. They need to straighten that shit out real fast.
I'll tell you.
I gotta tell you, a few decades of my life to make sure that happens. Here's
what I want to. Before I forget, what they should fucking do is the the government and the insurance companies should subsidize your fucking weed bill if your doctor gives you a prescription for it. If your doctor tells you this is what you use, because man, I've cut down on 4 different fucking drugs. 2 were narcotics, all 4 were potentially fucking hazardous. And I smoke weed now. Weed lets me deal with my pain, fucking my anti-anxiety, depression. Oh, I mean, I was fucking prescribed Wellbutrin, fucking oxycodone for my fucking arthritis, fucking benzodiazepam for depression, fucking gabapentin. After they took me off the oxys, they wanted to put me on this gabapentin shit, which is the worst thing they can give you. It's for fucking epileptic seizures, and they're giving that to all people that they're taking off pain meds, or they were doing that 15 years ago. But anyway, man, now I got to pay for my weed, and it's like, what the fuck? All this money I'm saving my insurance company, and I have a medical card, and I'm buying it through the medical dispensaries. Why doesn't the insurance foot the bill? I'm paying a lot of money every month from insurance, man. It's fucked
can't
up,
you
man.
grow your own shit though, Bruce?
I tried it. I can't, bro. I don't have a green
really
thumb.
time-consuming,
I tried it for years, man. I had lights. I had my celery wired. I had a dude put hydroponics and everything down there for me. Spider mites attacked it one time. And hey, believe me, blood, it's a full-time job growing that Primo weed.
Yeah, I don't know nothing about it, bro. I know y'all know more about that than I do, right?
Yeah, I wish I had gotten more involved in it, but like I said, I gave up real fast when it was too much. And plus, you got back in when I was growing it, you had metal halide lights. Now you've got these little
Mm-hmm.
You
got halogens, you got all kinds, you got
But back in the day, man, you only had one kind, the metal halides, and those things would go on. I could hear my fucking whole house go boom.
Yeah. Living in a grow is like man, so I've done outdoor, tens of thousands of square feet of warehouse spaces, like acres of outdoor spaces. Like it's been, like I said, it's been decades for me, integrated within like your shops, because I'm from the medical crowd, and then the adult use, but so it's been like grassroots organizing and lobbying, and also dispensing, and also producing products. And then I had a brand that we did cannabis capsules, and we would use we would decarbox it. We do a process where we basically turned hash into an edible, and then mixed other medicinal herbs, so it's like a sort of whole body tonic kind of shit with cannabis. Yeah, man, like just
I would avoid that product, man.
Yeah, boy. I want all that shit.
Yeah, man.
Good edibles over here in Florida. I mean, we can't even get that really that tight down here.
Bro, you can just go. There's a site called leafy.com, and I sub to it.
Leafy. Yeah.
You get a newsletter every day and shit like that. But hey, Major Key, shout out to you, bro, and anybody else I missed out there, man. I'm getting very enveloped in this conversation we're having about my favorite subject, weed, and I got an expert down here, man. Get this smoking. Now I know why he's got that name. And then I get my brother Blood Boxing, who, bro, it's on my bucket list. I'm gonna smoke some fucking Toker 2s with Blood Boxing before they put this old man in the fucking ground, bro. So anyway, man,
I'm an expert at smoking it. I don't know about the shit I'm getting this smoke though, but I'm an expert at smoking. I damn sure sample your shit now. Send it to me. I'll let you know if it's potent or not.
That's what's up, man. Like each stage of the process, I feel like is interesting to me, like actually fascinating, and I've spent a ton of time on all of it. And it's fun. It's fun to actually chop up what my name is really about versus what people think my name is about.
I hear that, bro. And like I said, man, I've been smoking since the 60s, so I saw all the different fucking phases of how we get our smoke, and how we how it comes to us. Like back in the day, the only good grass was what was imported. You know what I mean? The fucking shit that was grown around here, nobody had any idea what to do. It was green. Green was a bad color back then. You wanted fucking gold, red, brown. Jamaica, Colombia, Mexico. Those were your 3 biggest importers of weed. Yeah. And the Colombian was always the connoisseur stuff. That was the best. For some reason,
the red hairs too.
Oh yeah, I mean the famous Panama Red.
Yeah.
And you know, and bro, once that stuff came around in the mid '70s, that was the standard. All that other shit, man. The Jamaican, unfortunately, Jamaicans, they were commercial, so they had to get their shit together. The stuff that they kept for themselves, they had to start exporting it. But it was a whole
so that was like my introduction was the Jamaicans in the mid '70s, right? So like that's when you know my parents' friends, and then you got the metal fucking water pipes, the little Indian fucking jobs, and yeah, that was a bunch of seeded stuff. But like yeah, when I started first like smoking, it was like Mexican stuff. But yeah, that Panama Red though too. That was,
bro, we used to buy pounds of that shit, that Mexican stuff, in this fucking brown paper wrap fucking pound.
Yeah, that brick pack stuff. Yeah, man.
Oh shit! It was like $100 a pound back then too. People were driving it up from Mexico, but it was crap. Every once in a while, they get some good stuff. They get some of the legendary Acapulco Gold, and believe me, I saw that shit, and that was like, it didn't even look, smell, anything like this fucking, you know, the commercial Mexican. That became a thing of the past because nobody wanted to buy that anymore. These guys couldn't sell it. They had to switch their fucking modus operandi to the connoisseur stuff, and that stuff back then, it was only like for the best fucking imported shit you could get, $450 a pound. I mean, you know, $40 an ounce on the street for the stuff. The shit that right now you can't even get a quarter.
Niggas make their own names up for it though. They call it all kind of stuff. Yeah, man, I got some of that lemon. Blah blah blah.
Yeah,
I never did know what the real names was because the niggas down here in Gainesville, they make their own name up for the shit and stuff like that. They're just back in the day, they would just call everything instead of now they just call it Lao. I got some Lao, but they would call it Crip back in the day. Like, oh, we got some Crip. That was the top of the line shit, which was a lot. Which is like the regular shit you'll see now, though. You know what I'm saying? But I would
it was
some of that weed from the '90s because I used to get real high as fuck in the '90s. I don't get high like that no more.
Yeah, like my first you know foray into it, like you know, like I said, like in like high school, at like '85, was like it was Northern Lights, and that stuff is, I mean, it's I don't know if you can find that cut anymore. But yeah, that was out of this world, like kind of hybrid, nice fucking indica body feel, but also head change, sativa thing. It was a piece of work, man.
But it was also grown in fucking Alaska. That was grown in the land of the midnight sun. That's why they call it fucking that's Northern Lights, bro. That was the fucking 24 hours of sunlight. That's how that stuff became legendary.
Who's that guy who joined your panel there, Bruce?
Yeah, bro. Yeah, friendly ass civilian. What's up? I'm sorry, man. I'm getting a little spaced out here. What's up with you, bro? Who are you?
Stuck with it. It's D-Ray, bro.
D-Ray, hey! Friendly ass civilian.
Hey, I just try to separate myself, bro.
You're a smart man,
Make sure
bro.
I don't get caught up in none of that bullshit. Go ahead, Bruce. I'm sorry.
No, man. You always say that. Go ahead. I'm sorry. You got the microphone, man. I'm gonna do another hit on this fucking Toker 2 and just fucking kicking back. It's still Sunday morning out here. Can you believe it? I'm fucking digging it with about 4 or 5 hours sleep. Go ahead, D-Ray. What's up?
Hey, man, I just was enjoying the conversation. Great panel up here with Smoke and Blood. And, you know, hey, I'm just sitting back chilling, man, just listening to y'all. But I also remember some of that Thai stick, man. Y'all ever hit that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And you know what? Like, you know, I'm a Bay Area guy. And there's a place called People's Park, which is like it's famous for counter-revolutionary and like, you know, grassroots organization and anti-establishment. And you know what? It just actually ended like last weekend. You know, interestingly enough. But anyway, they used to have this thing that they would call Thai stick. And it was like glued to a literal stick. It's like this weird ass fucking thing. And then they would wrap string around it and then sell that shit as Thai stick. But no, I've actually had, you know, I went to Thailand and smoked fuck weed out there. And yeah, I've had it straight from the fucking source.
Well, you know what? You know why they made Thai sticks, bro? I mean, I saw when it happened. You occasionally you get Thai weed because I was doing this during the Vietnam War, and that's how that shit got to America. And because it was such good weed, and because it was so much better than the weed that we were getting, the fucking Thais, they decided to take their buds, take a sliver of bamboo and wrap it around with a piece of thread, and they could sell these things for like $10 a piece. Whereas they could, a big bag of buds, it was cheap back then, but Thai weed was legendary. Then it became Thai sticks when they had the servicemen there. Fucking you go out at night, you buy a Thai stick and a bottle of fucking booze and get in the hooch with a fucking with one of the mamas, and that was it came back to America. And fucking Thai sticks, man. I love those things. I bought so many fucking ounces of Thai sticks. Damn. And the thing about those, man, you didn't know if you were getting a big one. You didn't know how small, there was no standardization on them. But man, yeah, Thai sticks, legendary. The fucking weed used to taste like chocolate. It was so fucking rich. But now you can get that in the dispensary. They know how to duplicate it, and they know how to crossbreed it. But that was legendary back then. But if you never had a Thai stick, you can go find weed just like that, just as powerful as that.
But there's another thing, chocolate Thai in the fucking early 90s through New York, and maybe in the 80s also. Man, 70s, I smoked some of that shit. They used to have this one like club called, it was a night. I can't remember what place it was in, but it was a weekly party called the Sugar Shack. And they would play just like 70s like soul music out this shit, and then they would have like projections of like 70s cartoons, like Red Fox with a can of Colt 45 and all this shit. But I smoked some fucking other chocolate Thai, man, and I'm like just zoning out, and I fucking went blind. No fucking joke, man. Like for like 5 minutes, I couldn't see. I went to no, I'm not fucking with you at all. First, my field of vision went red, and then everything went dark, and I panicked the fuck out. I ran to the bathroom, and I was just like, I just, I calmed down. I felt like it would pass. I don't know if it was a chocolate Thai, what the fuck the whole thing was, but yeah, no fucking joke. I fucking went blind for a minute.
Damn, bro. That shit would freak me. I don't want to be high like that. I have to be at home.
Well, there were rumors.
I gotta be at home, man.
They used to say that it was laced with opium.
I've seen them around, but I've never even seen nobody with one of those around here. But I know what they are. But
yeah, I don't think they even make them anymore, Blood. I really don't, man. Anybody that says they have a Thai stick, nah. They got some good weed and they put it on a little sliver of whatever and tied it around. I've actually seen them on the sticks that you shish kebabs, the sticks that you get.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. Those with the shish kebab. The ones that look like a hot dog on the shish kebab.
What do they call
it on video before? I've never seen it around the streets before. Never.
Nah. I don't even think they make them. And if they did, you'd have to go with Get This Smoke to Thailand and find some hooch and find the real ones there. But
yeah. When I was in Thailand, I hooked up with a friend's wife. Anyway, yeah, it was a whole fucking thing.
Yeah, I don't think that's a part of it's even a realization anymore. The world has changed so much around here and anyway. I don't know about back there, but man, I've seen those Thai sticks come in. Literally, I knew cats who would have them imported. They got popular with the Vietnam veterans, man. Dudes a year older than me. Guys that I fucking grew up with who went there and fucking came back crazy, but they did come back with this fucking crazy weed Thai sticks, and it was legendary until all of a sudden somebody would pull one out and whoa, you didn't roll joints with it, you just put it in the pipe. If you're at a Toker 2, fucking Toker 2 is another thing, man. I think I've been smoking, like I said, since '69. I bought my first Toker 2 in '74. That's the best fucking way I've ever found to smoke the weed.
Do you still blunt? Do you ever blunt smoke, Bruce?
Yeah, but I didn't like the tobacco aspect of it, Blood. I'd fucking find myself having tobacco coughs, from the leaf. So,
right. Gotcha.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I have joints. I still smoke joints. I must have.
Right.
Yeah.
I've seen you roll a joint before, but I've never seen you with no blunt. But I got you. A lot of people say that. I know a lot of people don't like, especially once they start getting older, they don't like the blunts as much. They like to get papers or a little pipe or a bong or something like that.
Well, the thing is that I just ran through it all, right? Like I kind of got I got, I guess, radicalized through like Todd Mirica, right? The guy who like smuggled the fucking documents out of the government to show the medicinal use of cannabis and all that stuff. And yeah, like just one summer from school, he got me all like wrapped up in it. But like what got me like really like hot about the whole thing was like there was this guy, this glass blower, Bob Snodgrass, and he would have these like intricate pipes. And the more you smoked them, then like the smoke would activate all these colors, and he had these scenes etched in them. You'd have like mushrooms in them and like wild fields and shit. And the more you smoke, it would reveal more of the scene. Anyway, I'm in Berkeley one day, and the fucking cops like looking for something to, looking for looking for weed. Really didn't find anything, but found my pipe, and then like accidentally on purpose dropped it and busted it up. And yeah, that was like I went from really just like using it as a means to like a summer job, get some money from one of the family friends kind of thing, to like, oh yeah, I need to like make sure these cops stop fucking harassing me about something I'm probably not gonna stop doing anytime soon. And that was like 30 years ago. You're doing longer than me, 52.
Yeah, I've been.
I mean, I've smoking longer than that, but like radicalized, yeah, it's been like 30 years of like making sure that first off me, and then by extension everybody else, doesn't get harassed by the cops. And that's from Berkeley to California to I guess now 20 or 30 states. And you're saying federal legislation?
I always got harassed by the cops. I was just very, very careful, very very defensive. Just I never got vocal because I never got arrested for weed. I never had any problems with the law, and that's why I wanted to keep it, man. I just didn't want to. I didn't want to get vocal because back in my day, you got vocal. It wasn't like now. It wasn't like legalized, rah rah rah. Fuck it. It was you go to jail for weed. So I was always under the school of fucking loose lips sink ships, and
yeah, man.
don't
It's
fucking
better.
get involved with any organized fucking non-profits, as my brother Blood would say.
Mhm.
Yeah, I had to pay over 70 grand to stay out of jail, supplying
fuck that,
fucking and like I've had 2 dispensaries raided, and like
Damn.
snitches, all that shit, bro. Like yeah, it is what it is. But like I said, I can smoke in front of fucking cops.
Well, I can do that too, bro.
That's not right, bro. That's
fucking-
not right. We need to have that down here in Florida, bro. Because man, I ain't no all American unless we get our rights, bro.
You're right, Blood.
We gotta
You're
get
right,
our
man.
rights. It's unfair that y'all could go into the dispensary and just get what y'all want and shit like that. Now we gotta sit around and catch charges and all
I'm
kind
trying
of
to
shit.
say
Like
that.
I know so many guys, man, who caught all their charges through marijuana, and now this shit is going around here. It's legal now and all that kind of shit. It's real fucked up for them guys, man.
Man, it was an expensive right to fucking exercise. Like being on the, pioneers get arrows in the backs, right? And that shit, like, man, some of it, like Bruce was saying, like guys got decades. Like I was able to beat the case. My shit happened in 2009, so I was like on the tail end of it. But it was a time when it was all kinds of feds crawling through a thing. I mean, I did DA, like there's been a house seizure, right? And there's been like a couple of like municipal seizures, but yeah, I mean it is what it is. Like I said, like the process, like once you're in it, once you're committed, I don't know. Depending on your stomach for fucking trouble, I guess. You just keep going. Just go. You know what? Fuck it. I'm not gonna. You gotta. I don't know. Some rights you gotta fight for, or somebody has to fight for them.
Well, I don't know. To me, it's not even a cause anymore. It's a done deal. See, the people who write the laws now, they're the people who I used to ride around in the car with and smoke a fucking blunt and chug a 6-pack down before the fucking classes started at 8:00 in the morning. So these guys don't want to throw people like us in jail. People like themselves. That's why I'm going to go to this fucking class reunion in a couple more months, and I'm like, hey, bro. I know people who I graduated with who are fucking you know, they're local circuit judges and fucking lifetime politicians, state senators, you know, and they've been doing that for fucking 30 years now. So it's going to be interesting, and you know, weed is my thing, and I'm not breaking any laws, so I'm sure I'm going to be stoned there. I'll have a pocket full of fucking bones on me. Some of the old cats, you know, we'll step in their back and fucking smoke one, and maybe even there I'll fucking bring my card and put it over my neck, and maybe I'll play advocate for the night. But to me, you're not going to get in trouble anymore. Smoke. It's
it's done for me. Like, man, it's big business. Like, listen, man, I was offered a job as a fucking, I'm not even going to go to the title, but like an executive for a publicly traded company to just buy fucking like long tons of cannabis. Like,
but see, that's
like
not,
half of a cent. I know exactly.
I get you, dude.
You know what I mean? Like, that's what it is now. It's just like it's beyond not getting.
It's a business. You just said it. It's a business.
Now it's a drudge. Like it went from a civil rights to like how do you make like the uber wealthy more fucking money by like hacking off the fucking half of a cent.
I'm only in it for the buzz, brother.
Yeah, I hear you, bro. I mean, I get you.
I don't sell it. I don't fucking. I'd love to be. I don't grow it. I have nothing to do. All I do is shell out bucks for it, and I'd love to be. I'd love to make a living doing it. I think I could too. I think I'd be pretty fucking good at it. You know, seeing as how I've been there and done that. But anyway, man, I just think it. I just think it's not a crime anymore. You know, around here, even 2 years ago, if you got pulled over for it, if they found it, and cops are very hip, they can smell it, even if you're not smoking it. They just throw it away and give you a ticket for like $200, you know, a glorified speeding ticket, and you're on your way. If you pay it and don't get in any trouble for the next 6 months, it's expunged. So it's basically been legal around here for the past, I don't know, maybe 10 years, 15 years.
I know it's square biz now. It's just straight square biz. And then what I mean by square is people you don't really want to hang out with, and the reason why you were hanging out with a certain group in the first place is so you didn't have to hang out with these people. Like, yeah, it's now they have infiltrated, not only infiltrated, but completely co-opted the entire process, the entire production process. And even like a lot in a bunch of senses, even the culture, right? It's like soccer moms and shit and sprays, and man, California's wild.
They're all smoking now, even the soccer moms. You know, people that I never expect in my neighborhood. I'm talking to them, and like they went out to Vegas. Oh yeah, we went to the shop. We got some edibles a few years ago. You know, not now. You can go to get them next door, but and I'm like, yeah. Oh, it was so much fun, and I slept so good, and I went to the casinos. And I'm like,
it's always been a part of our culture and shit.
You want to smoke a joint?
Because judges, all that shit, they do worse shit. They be snorting coke.
Oh yeah, man.
Oh yeah,
everybody
they smoke it. Their wives did or their husbands did. So believe me.
I mean, they had nitrous tanks,
everybody's
poppers. Like lawyers. Oh my god. Anyway, yeah, but I'm saying like you can get like drops now, eye drops, sprays, tinctures, lotions, like all this shit, like scented lotion, like high end facials and all this fucking shit that they'll get.
Hey, I gotta go clean my bong and get some more water. I'll be back in a sec, man.
Okay, go ahead and cook, Smoke. We still listening to you school us on how this shit go down, bro.
Oh shit, man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that was funny. I didn't know that. I didn't know we were gonna get this deep into it. You invited me up, and I was enjoying the conversation. And I was like, yeah, okay.
Hey man, sometimes it's good to get some better information on the shit I smoke every day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean,
we got the experts here.
Yeah, man, that OG Kush, man, like there's a couple of different. I don't even know where you want to go to it, like the origins, the strains, like what are you smoking on right now?
See, I smoke OG Kush, but right now that's what I supposedly got. But see, I get my shit on the street, so the niggas I get it from.
Oh, they just tell you it's OG Kush.
They'll tell me it's it's this some train wreck or something. You know, they'll tell me it's
oh wow.
And then I get something from someone else, and they'll say it's the same thing and it's something different. So I don't really know. All I know is I can look at the weed and tell if it's fire. You know what I'm saying? And usually I'll smoke it first and try it out and stuff. Because weed is funny these days, man. Some of it looks real good and shit, and it don't smoke as good. And some of it don't look that great, but it smokes better. And when it's on the street level, you got to kind of rely on that kind of stuff, unless you're like the one who's I guess purchasing the big weight and all of that kind of stuff, right?
It's funny how Florida is still behind the times, because they've been threatening to be ahead of the curve for like at least like 15 years. Like I remember one of my doctor friends was talking about setting up shop, like a remote office to get people like their card, right, to make sure they got the recommendations. But like you're saying, you still can't really find reliable sources. You got to go to the street.
I get all my shit from my homeboys. Like this is how it's always been for me. I go to the street. I get my weed on the street level. You know, I just whoever I know like 10 or 11 people who sell it. So they'll claim they have different stuff and different names. That's the part of it that I don't, I don't have a medical card, so I can't go to the dispensary and buy the shit, but that's the name brand stuff that's over there. I get it on the street level, but the shit I get is real good though, bro. Like I got real good solid. Like I get some real good fire, but I don't know for sure. If somebody say this is OG, I'm not really 100% sure that it's OG. You know what I'm saying? Because I've had people tell me, "Oh, that's platinum," and then someone else tell me that's platinum, and it's something totally different. So that's how it is here in Florida.
There you go.
There it is.
Yes, sir.
That's it. Focus.
That's nice, man.
Yeah, it is.
Hey, Blood, I got a question, bro. Well, why you don't have a card, man? If they have the medical down there,
it's so easy for me to get it on the street, because the shit I get on the street is the medical shit. It's still the shit you see Bruce with. I could get that shit right on the street, man. But it's hit or miss sometimes, because sometimes it looks a little bit better than what it is and stuff like that. So I'd be mad at my little drug dealers all the time, telling me, "Man, come on, man, stop lying to me and telling me this. Man, this don't look like the shit you had last time." I'm real picky. I'm a real picky dude. I'll look at it. They already know that they might as well have one rolled up for me before I buy it. They have one rolled up for me, so then I'll know. But that's how I've always done it for weed. I've never been like I've never been into the business. I didn't even sell it. Like I always purchase and smoke it.
Yeah, but I was just saying that, like, you can go tell them, bro, that you got a back injury or a migraine, and they'll give you a card.
It's easy, but still, it's gonna cost me more because that shit is expensive at the dispensary. I know some people who go and get the stuff, and they'll invite me over, and I'll smoke, and I'll go hit the stuff with them. But it's the same. It's not really that. It's not better than what we got on the street, and it costs me much less to just get it because I know so many fucking people that I'm gonna get my ounces a few $100s cheaper and all of that shit, right? So it's always way cheaper, like 50% or even cheaper than they will sell it to somebody at the University of Florida, for instance.
It's always better stuff to get it from somebody's like home grow, where it's a labor of love, versus like some like warehouse where it's commercially produced, where there's just like no, I don't know, man. A
lot of the guys get this shit sent to them to smoke because they come in them ear seal bags. When I go over and get the weed now, like back in the day, they didn't have those ear seal bags, but when they have them ear seal bags all over, I know that somebody shipped them the marijuana, right? So I don't know where they get it from. I don't ask no questions. All I know is I get it for cheap.
It's not even that. It's that most of them don't let the actual what we're talking about, that hash, the trichromes, the crystals on the leaf, basically. A lot of them, they like the commercially grown stuff, they don't let it mature right. So it's just like kind of just, I don't know, man. It's a different thing. Like guys used to let it go long and dry it and cure it correctly and all this other shit. But that's like that. Like mostly they just want to process it for some sort of concentrate. And like the flower product is like.
The guys the guy that I deal with, he used to be a fucking he used to be a nickel bag character, nickel and dime character, but he was basically a farmer, and he kind of realized he put these seeds in the ground, and instead of buying this stuff, he can fucking grow it himself, and he just became more evolved, and you know what, when all this stuff was coming on the shelf with these fucking crazy names, he already had that shit. He didn't have any names for it, but you know, he knew how to make the sensimilla, how to keep the male plants away. And now, I mean, the guy is so sophisticated now. He's got a grow room where you can't even walk in there without a fucking Tyvek suit on and booties. You know, he's got a dry room, a dehumidifying room. I think the last time I told me it cost him $8,000 to have the fucking the dehumidifier cleaned out and the vents cleaned out. But I mean, these guys, they're doctors now. They've gone so scientific. You know, they won't let these strands get cross-pollinated. I mean, when you buy something that's called Purple Haze, you know that these motherfuckers, they went out and spent like $4 or $5 for a seed or for a fucking clipping. So you know you're getting fucking real Purple Haze. I mean, it's not like you're buying us from the street anymore. These guys are fucking dealers who are very proud of what they do. And you know, I call them up. What do you got, Doc? It'll be like, oh, I got the fucking the diesel. You know, I got the fucking Pops Tops and I got the fucking AK-47. It's like, okay, you know, and I'll go online, look the strains up. I see a fucking good indica in there, you know, good for pain, you know, good for fucking anxiety. Bango, I jump right on it. But it's not like it's not like the fucking the guy in the street where I even have to smoke a joint or even deal with it, because you know they're just so proud of their quality now. And he sells to the dispensaries too. I'm fortunate that I can, you know, that I have a little way where I can get my stuff like blood stain for about half price, because it's fucking crazy, and it's fucking taxes for the state. They don't do nothing for it. The dispensaries are run by individuals. The one in my area, the dude just hired his fucking brother-in-law as the manager. And all these, I know a guy who's been working there for 5 years, and he's like, you know, I've been here for 5 years, and the guy brings his fucking nephew in, you know, his brother-in-law, whatever, with nepotism, and it's, you know, that's why it's a fucking legal weed. I can't stand it, because it's like you were saying, Smoke. It's a fucking business, bro. It ain't like it's big business. It's like boxing. It's all changed now. It's all fucking business.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, but if you're like me and you love it, you still can figure out how to get around the business aspects and how to watch the best fights for free and get the best herb.
Well, I mean, it's like, you know, if you want like Steel Reserve or like, you know, Old English 800 is there for you, or you could put up a fucking microbrewery in your fucking garage if you want. Like, it's all about like what's your pain threshold and how, you know, how motivated are you to get the best product of something that you like.
Hey, ball.
Yo, go ahead, bro. You high over there, man. You ain't said shit all day. You doing all the talking. What the hell you doing there? What's up, man?
What's
you
up?
high over there? Some shit. You talking some shit over there? What's up, man?
Who that? Me?
Yeah. You ain't
my
said
bad,
shit.
bro.
What you smoking right now? What? Since we talking, what you smoking on? Shit.
I just got some of that Kush, bro.
The Kush.
But up here, bro, they had tried to do a medical marijuana law, and they got all the signatures, and the Supreme Court wouldn't let it go on the ballot. So we still trying to fight through the bullshit.
Where you at?
Omaha.
Okay, you're in Nebraska.
Yes, sir.
Every time when people say that, I think of fucking Peyton Manning. Omaha.
hey, but I did have two questions though, real quick. First, I wanted to ask about BC Bud. You guys had that before, obviously, too, right?
Oh yeah, man. Like I'm in the West Coast, so yeah, like Vancouver, BC, like that's right. That's right. So yeah, from you know, Rosarito to Victoria. That's like my you know, from my own personal experience. But the BC bud,
and I have one other question. My bad, bro, but I have one other question. Now you know, sometimes when you break down some bud, I think you kind of said like crystals or something like that seem like they kind of stuck to your hand and you have to try to wipe it away. And then sometimes it's just super dry. What's the difference with that though?
What's the difference between that and what?
Well, I'm saying like, sometimes you get some bud where like, when you're trying to break it down, it kind of sticks to your fingers and
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh,
right,
that's what you
right.
want.
I get you. I get you. So, two things can be happening. So, right. So we're just talking about the trichromes,
That's a
and
good
those are
question
the
right there
heads.
now.
Like, if you get like you can get a magnifying. They used to have Radio Shacks, but they don't have Radio Shacks anymore. But they would have like magnifying glasses where you can get like a 10 times or 100 times loop or jeweler's loop, and you can if you look at the bud, you'll see like all of these like these milky white crystals over the thing. That could be one of them where there's just a whole bunch of crystals on it and they didn't like keep it. Like some guys, they'll take their fucking buds and they'll run it through a silk screen before they sell it to you, and then they'll like keep the key for themselves and smoke and all that shit. And then the bud you get will be like really a whole bunch of plant material and it'll put you to fucking sleep. But then there's other stuff that's really sticky because it's like not cured right and it's still wet, right? So the best sticky is when it's cured, dry, and has a whole bunch of trichomes on it. Now you're cooking with gas.
Yeah, and see what that does is that creates Mother Nature's little container, and it keeps those. You call them trichomes. See, I just call that's the THC. That's the strong stuff. That's like gasoline. That's lighter than air. You break that up. That's why you can smell it. And when you start smelling it, that's the potency. The potency is going in. You're losing it. It's going into air. I know those clowns who used to do that in the day. They break it up. They call, oh, this is a screened ounce, bro. No seeds. Just roll it right up, and fucking like you said, man. It's all plant material. All the THC is evaporated. Those buds are what keep it together, man. These little fucking things. That's Mother Nature's perfect little receptacle to hold the THC. Even when you squeeze it, you don't smell anything now, but you squeeze it, you smell the THC. That's a little bit of the effervescence, the potency leaking away. So that's why I keep my grass. I keep it in the little fucking medicine bottles. They're airtight. They keep light away UV rays. That's another thing that'll break your weed down, bro. Airtight and fucking light tight, and fucking weed will last a long time. I don't know about forever, but I've had stuff that's been stored. I found it 6 months later. I almost a year later, still kicks ass. Still got the potency, the punch, the THC.
Yeah,
Fuck.
yeah, man. Like he is absolutely correct. The trikes are where the most of the THC is, and the whole the whole ball game is how do you separate the THC, the crystals from the plant material. And so you can use cold process.
Look at
You can
all.
use solvents. You can do any number of things. But like Keith is the easiest way to do it, but it's generally green because it has plant material. But maybe you can get some real clean stuff that's gold or like blonde, and that's cool too. But like you can either use solvents or solventless to basically separate the plant material from the trike heads to get like the most THC per buck. But like for me, I like the cannabinoid spectrum. I like it all. I like from the rooter to the tutor for all this psychoactive compounds and medicinal remedies. That's
Now,
just me.
now, do you have different strains that you use for different ailments? Like, let's say somebody's got fucking migraines. Do you have like a special strain for that? And if somebody's fucking anxious, they're fucking looking around. You
Yeah, no, it's more like general, indica
hit and
sativa
miss.
hybrids, and then because like I don't know, I don't know if you guys grow, but like man, it's hard to maintain the integrity from one harvest to the next, even if it's the same strain. Like they just start to lose potency over a
Yeah,
while.
no, you're right. They're different.
They get cross pollinated. It's just like kind of hard
Sometimes even better.
to
Sometimes the
manage
next
that
one's even
kind of
better.
thing. Yeah, it's just kind of like whether or not you have a specific
That's
strain,
botany.
getting
That's
a
what
good
it's called,
example of that
botany,
strain is a
bro.
totally different issue, right?
Yep, but I've found certain strains. My point is, I've found certain strains where, like the AK-47, great for fucking pain, bro. I mean, that's what I was taking narcotics to relieve the fucking pain in my arthritis pain. I smoked that shit, and I'm like 3 hours later, wow, man, I don't even. It's better than taking a fucking oxy. But that's what I mean. And I know I know some cat that they couldn't eat because he was getting chemo. And his doctor said, go get some marijuana, but he never smoked before. He didn't know what kind. I said, bro, get some fucking sativa, get some edibles, because you didn't want to smoke. And he fucking started eating fucking, having cake after his fucking food, having a bigger piece of chicken. I mean, dude, he put on like 15 pounds and it kept him healthy. But the weed it's so beneficial. And now that people know more about it, the different fucking strains and the different fucking, the types, that's what you should do. Get to smoke. You should get a fucking a doctor with you to prescribe different strains for different ailments, bro. That's what a lot of people they go to the fucking store and talk to these so-called, what do they call them, bud tenders now behind the counter, fucking 21-year-old kids who act like they went to fucking Afghanistan and smoked with fucking Baba Ramdas, you know?
Yeah. Man, it is. You know how doctors are. They want to make sure that you get the exact dose of the exact same thing every single time. So they're never going to really prescribe cannabis. They'll just recommend it because you never know how much THC you're gonna get from one hit to the next. Really,
even the
edible. It is what it is. Like you smoke and the reaction, your effects are instantaneous. Whereas if you use it, like if you ingest it and it goes through your digestive system, then you process it. It takes way longer. You get way higher. It'll like attach other fucking THCA to your fucking like from your kidneys as it's processing shit. You get even higher still. Like it's just all about like your attachment, like what it is you've got going on in your life with your body and what experience you're trying to have. Like really, like because smoking. Like some people, I don't really want to be fucked up for 8 hours straight, right? Other people want an instantaneous reaction and then like kind of sober in a couple of hours again, right? It's just kind of.
Once I get my first buzz going for the day, I'm buzzed all day. I've kind of committed myself, but regardless thereof, like I said, I do it for fucking medicinal purposes mostly. Wink, wink. But
yeah, man, like you don't want me like
I wake up in pain every day. Yeah. And weed, and edibles for a lot of people, they're the answer. I mean, I wish I could get the strong ones. And you were talking about the how standardized doses. I got these edibles that said 100 milligrams per edible, which per gummy, which is fucking strong, right?
Yeah, I mean, sure.
So anyway, it's got the fucking the chemical analysis on the back that the shop had done, and they actually contain 1.25.47 milligrams per gummy. So they're overdosing. I'm saying, great, bro, that's fucking decent. I was wondering why I was getting so fucked up on them, but you can't trust really anything anymore except it's a hit or miss proposition. You have to try it.
Exactly. That's why like doctors won't ever prescribe. Like that's really pretty much why you can't get prescriptions, because like they have to isolate it. They have to make sure you get the same dose every single time and there's no variation. So it's kind of like you have to take the actual like what makes cannabis medicinal out of it in order for them to prescribe it, because really it's about the entourage effect and the interplay of the different chemicals, not just try to isolate THC or CBD or CBNs or CBGs or all whatever the fuck it is you're trying to get a specific effect for. I mean, to go back to your question, like it's just kind of like there's different ways that you can consume it if you're trying to get a specific effect. Like if you're an insomniac and you're trying to sleep, then you probably want to keep your herb, right? And just smoke and you'll knock the fuck out, right? Or if you want like some head change because you want to relegate your mood, you probably want a sativa, or you smoke in the morning, but you don't want to be like couch lock, body high, sativa kind of shit.
I can't get that way anymore, man. I just I get either nice or I'm fucking I'm not stoned, and then I'm kind of like I got things I have to do sometimes where I don't want to get high, and I take care of those. But then it always comes back once I get online. See, what I found out here was I found people that like boxing and they like to get fucking stoned. And I said, damn, these are my kind of fucking people. Not too many cats out there that are still kicking that like that stuff. And I just found myself getting more and more into it. And the strains, I didn't really know too much about the strains. my guys I would get it for, they would tell me and stuff, but I didn't pay much attention until the past maybe 2 years, where I'm starting to learn, like you're saying, Smoke, about, you know, the sativas for energy and the indicas for fucking sedation, and you know, the different cross strains where they give you energy, but they calm you down. So I'm starting to learn to find that perfect strain that I can fucking do first thing in the morning, and, you know, maintain it for the day. And one time it's good, and then I'll buy it again another 2 weeks later,
exactly.
and it just won't do the same.
Yeah, and that's the thing about like looking for strains. It's like just because you find the strain doesn't mean you get a good example of it. These guys talk about the OG, and you know the OG is like, you know, supposedly like the home of like Los Angeles, and specifically like, you know, Los Angeles street gangs that really held that strain back to themselves, and it was impossible to get for a minute. And I don't see many examples of it really around, or even the original example that I got, and it was in like, I want to say 2004 in Los Angeles. But we sold we sold a whole bunch of things called OG, but it was very hard to get that particular strain, and that when you did get it, it was super fucking expensive, like $100 in a fucking eighth kind of shit.
Yeah, it's become, like you said, bro. It's become a science today. And hey, man, I'm in it for the ride, and I kind of like it. I'm getting more and more educated as I learn about these strains, especially with the internet, man. It's so it's there's got to be dozens of these sites like Leafy and fucking, you know, Green Life and all these fucking wacky sites, kind of like, you know, like we're doing right now. You know, they get into it because, you know, it's definitely more than it was 30 years ago. It's on a whole different level. You know, you got fucking terpenes. That wasn't even a word. I think the Grateful Dead had
the
fucking
terpenes, yeah, man. Yeah, just the you know, stripping the aromas from them, and then like putting them onto other strains, like low grade stuff, like using the terpenes from high grade, and then putting them on the low grade, so you get a whole bunch of mid grade. Like, yeah, man, and that's the thing. It's like it's a bunch of profit driven shit that doesn't make anything better, really. It's just like, you know, it's variety, like the idea. I don't know, man.
It's big business, bro. It's big business. They're non-profits. They're fucking you know, they answer to no one, basically. I think Rhode Island has a marijuana czar, they call them. I have no fucking idea what.
Yeah, we have the same thing here. Yeah, we have the same thing here. Like it was modeled over the it was modeled over the after the alcohol the alcohol regulations board. Like they had an alcohol and tobacco czar. Now we got a cannabis czar. But it was like we were doing voter initiatives here, and it was all like people driven. But then once it came to the Adult Use Act, we got a billionaire involved. Well, you know, a Silicon Valley billionaire. I won't say like his name or anything. But yeah, like it just turned into basically generic ass fucking business that anyone can get into. Hey, whatever, like just, you know.
Yeah, I think it's going to start giving weed a bad name.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
And all I know is it goes well with boxing, man. Weed, boxing, and music is all.
Oh yeah.
All of those.
I mean, I'm listening to those blues riffs Bruce got going on in the background.
What's that?
I'm listening to those blues riffs Bruce has going on in the background.
Oh, okay, yeah, hell yeah. Bruce,
yeah, it's good music. A little better than elevator music, but no, man, it's boxing, fucking weed, music, and you know a few other things, but it just came natural. And it's funny, I jumped in here a couple of years ago, and you know, this is what I look forward to, bro. You know, I say shit, man. You know, last night I said we're gonna go talk about the fights. You know, I heard, you know, John Page getting killed, and you know, just boxing, weed, and a bunch of fucking cats over here that you know, that I can talk to and feel comfortable with, and just fucking have a good time over here, man. Getting fucking blitzed in the afternoon, and fucking, you know, you can talk about the fights that happened last night, the fights that are gonna happen next week, the fucking golden era that we fucking lived through, man. It's just it's a good thing. You know, some people they see me and they almost shy away because they know it's going to be boxing. I'm going to fucking somehow stick boxing in there. It's the only thing that interests me these days. And if I meet new people, in the course of my first introduction, I'll mention boxing, and if they light up, then I say, oh, this is going to be somebody I'll probably talk to again. But if it doesn't even phase them, and oh yeah, it's like, okay, well, nice to meet you, man. Keep it up and whatever. But anyway, man, over here we got this bond of boxing. We got this fucking bond of the weed and the music. I mean, that's a must. I don't think I could do a show without playing some fucking music in the background.
I like your choice
man,
of
for
music
me,
too, man. Jazz, man. It's really puts you in that vibe, and it could take you into daydreams and all kind of shit. Jazz is beautiful. I love some of those tracks that you play, bro. Also like guitar a lot too, bro. The guitars, man. I love the guitars.
You look at some of them old boxers too, bro. Like fucking Sonny Liston doing his thing to Night Train on the speed bag. Fucking thing of beauty, blood.
Hey, I seen a movie about him yesterday, bro. It was called The Phantom Punch.
The one up in Lewiston, Maine?
Yeah, they had that too. But
talking
that was
about
more
Sonny
about
Liston?
Sonny Liston. Go ahead.
Oh, and
I'm sorry.
Ali, the Phantom Punch, the 65 bout.
My dad went to that fucking card, blood. Did I ever tell you that story?
Nah, you didn't tell me about that, bro.
It was up in Maine, man. It wasn't in Portland. What was the fucking? What did they have it
Lewiston.
in? What was it, bro? Lewiston, Maine. Yeah. That's only a couple of 100 miles from where I live. And anyway, I was really too young at the time. I was 10 or 11, and my dad and three of his friends, they got in the car and they went up there because back then, man, the heavyweight championship of the world, that was fucking huge. Go see that live, shit, Anyway, the next morning, I just remember my dad. He didn't like Ali anymore. He didn't, he was fucking pissed at boxing. He went to the bathroom. He missed the fucking knockout.
Oh wow!
And your dad was mad at Ali, you said?
He was mad at everybody. He was mad at boxing in general, man.
Hold on, tell me why your dad was mad to Ali though. I want to hear this shit right here.
All right, well, see, I came, bro. My dad didn't like Ali from the beginning because I came from a fucking all-white town, very, very, very all baby booming parents. Post World War II, they were more afraid of Ali. When he declared himself a Muslim, it was like a shakeup. They, this loud bash kid and most of the people where I came from wanted to see Joe Frazier shut him up. And this is a time where I started digging Ali big time, and that's when I saw fights coming on. But no, my father was he was conservative, and just a simple fucking nice, beautiful man. And he thought that boxing ripped him off because he thought the fight was fixed. Remember, that was the dive. Remember that one, blood?
Yeah, exactly. The rematch. But tell me something. So your dad got up and went away from the TV.
No, he was at the live event.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
He was up in Lewiston, Maine.
That's right. You just said that.
And he went to the bathroom and took a leak. And when he came back, the fight was over. And I guess they were drunk. I don't know, blood. They drove 200 miles. Fuck,
I
they
know
probably
he was mad going back the 200 miles.
Oh, they probably had to go. Oh, I bet the whole car was fucking pissed off. They go all that distance, a time of their lives, and for one cat, he didn't even see it. He went to the bathroom, but
yeah, that's fucked up, bro.
Hey, man, I used to laugh about that all the time.
Yeah, it is kind of funny when you look back on
Hilarious.
it. So your dad, did he ever turn and end up liking Ali at some point?
My dad was actually kind of neutral. He was kind of like I am towards the end there. We watched Ali and Ken Norton fight, and it was my dad was shocked that Ken Norton won the fight, and he was cheering for Ali at the end there. Towards the last few rounds when Ali he had already broken his jaw and he was just covering up, and Norton was going to town on him. But my dad was neutral. Life went on. He wasn't a totally diehard boxing, but like I said back then, the heavyweight champion of the world was fucking Superman. You know, he. It's and that's what it should be today, man. I would love to see that status achieved, but I don't think it's ever going to happen.
It's gonna be hard, man. You know, as far as the closest thing we have is the winner of the AJ Usyk fight, the Tyson Fury. So, you know, and then is that guy going to be marketable over here in America? Probably not. You know, whoever wins between Tyson Fury and Usyk, America probably ain't gonna give a fuck about that fight. No. We back to the Klitschko's and shit now. You know what I'm saying? Because nobody cares about that fight. Nobody was really talking about that Dillian White Tyson Fury fight other than the British YouTube channel.
I gotta tell you, man, the fights this weekend were a bunch of who cares also. And next week is who cares too. Kind of like this doesn't mean anything. Like, you know, David Benavidez beating David Lemieux does not tell us anything. Yeah, Janibek beating Dignam doesn't tell us anything.
Nope.
Like, you know,
sure doesn't.
It was entertaining, bro. That's the way I looked at it.
I mean, for 6.5 minutes, sure.
I didn't see that DAZN card either. They had a DAZN card yesterday.
Yeah, I heard that was a little bit better, but I was busy for that one. Yeah, I missed it. And but yeah, Rolling and Tank. Like, what do you think that's gonna tell you? Like, I don't know.
It's what they give us, you know. I said it a long time ago. I come from the days where they used to give us filet mignon. We were just talking about how they can't find a decent heavyweight fight, bro. That magazine that's on Blood's fucking avatar. You open that up to the rankings, the heavyweight rankings. Every name out there will fucking jump out at you, and you'd love to see those guys fight each other. They probably did, but today you open it up and you're gonna see, you know. You're going to see names that most people won't even recognize.
And then you see a bunch of guys who didn't fight each other, too. That's in the
ranking. Exactly.
You kind of wonder, like, how did they get ranked here when they haven't fought not one person on this list? You know, it's just amazing to me. When I look at the rankings, they're so confusing. That's why I don't take it serious when people say that shit about he beat so many ranked opponents and this and that. Man, the rankings been fucked up for years. I don't even want to hear that shit, man. Ocampo was a mandatory at one time for Errol Spence belt. You know, some guy who was unproven.
Yeah, and Errol Spence was a mandatory right before a combo. Like, makes no fucking sense. Yeah, man, I'm with you on that end. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, entertainment.
It's hit or miss with the rankings. You know, sometimes they're going to get a good mandatory in there, but we don't really know who's who when they're not fighting each other. Is the only point I'm trying to make.
Yeah.
Well, even the way boxing is judged today, you know, the three judges. I was watching last night the the opening fight, the undefeated featherweights. I can't think of their names on Showtime.
Yeah, the Zurdo,
the young guys,
Jonathan Fierro, and then
that was a good fight right there.
It was.
That was a good fight right there. I liked even the Fierro guy. He lost, but I like him though.
I did too.
The 18-year-old kid.
Yeah, the 18.
Yeah, 18 and 20. They were both fucking kids, and they both learned a lot from that fight. I mean, that was a great fucking fight. But oh shit, man, what the hell was I going to say about it? I can't even remember now. I lost my train of thought.
Yeah, blaze another one.
You think that I maybe I haven't blazed enough here? That might be the problem, man.
Yeah, you need to go ahead and light one more up, man.
You got light one more.
I had something I wanted to say about it too. I totally fucking forgot.
Go ahead. I'll think of it, man. The brain cells will kick in. You guys keep going.
Well, we were talking about that fight with them two undefeated kids, and that was a good ass fight. The other kid was 22. What was his name again? Smoke. The other guy, the 22-year-old.
Nunez.
Nunez. Yeah. He wasn't using the jab. When he started using that jab, you know, he did a little bit better with it. But for a while in that fight, from what I remember, he had abandoned his jab for a little while. But both of them, you know, they're both good fighters, man. I see both of them having a future in the sport. With all these belts out there that they could get, they're going to get some kind of belt. The little Mexican guy was cocky, the little 18-year-old. He said that he was talking some shit before the fight, man, and said that whatever country it is that Nunez come from. He was saying that they're not boxers over there and talk. So he got like personal with it.
He was dirty too. There were a lot of headbutts there, low blows. Those two kids were giving all they got, and they were both undefeated. Very rarely do we see a fight like that where they bring two kids in, and that was entertaining, man. Entertaining as hell.
Oh, had to go. That's how it was back in the day, though. That's how you separate. And sometimes the guy who take the loss, would still end up being a world champ. So
yeah, bro. I mean, I use this example all the time. The best one I can think of is when fucking Donald Curry and Starling fought.
Yeah, that's a very great example to use.
I mean,
absolutely. Yeah,
that
none
element,
of them had a belt in that first fight.
Nope.
They had those NABF and USBA belts.
Those were big though. Those NABF and USBA, those were like
to mean something. Yeah,
precursors to a championship belt. They were better than a fucking interim championship belt.
Oh yeah,
a lot of those fights were great.
Oh yeah, because they would always air them on TV. The NABF championship, the ESPN and them started picking that shit up in Tuesday night fights too. So we'll get to see a lot of those USBA and NABF championships, and that did propel them into a shot at the world title back in the day.
Well, I hope Fierro doesn't get discouraged by that L, because man, he took it hard. Did you see him? He was
devastated, and that was just like one of those, like, the producer of the show.
I know what I was going to say again. I just remembered. Let me get it up before I forget. The boxing, even at the end of the fight, the announcers they wouldn't say who won before it was announced, because they know how crooked judging is. They started to say, but then they hushed. I noticed that. And even when the announcers know how crooked the judging is in boxing, how are we going to take it seriously? And that fight, they got it right. But even if they had given it to Fierro, was that his name?
Yeah,
it would have just went as another questionable decision. That's why boxing's not winning.
I thought Nunez pretty clearly won that fight.
Me too.
But they did this whole thrill of victory and agony of defeat thing when he was being assisted to his dressing room by somebody. It seemed like a family member, and just devastated, crying and bawling.
He was crying, man.
And then they cut to Nunez smiling and walking to the thing. I was like, oh, okay, they're doing well.
Oh, it was 94-96 on all three scorecards. I wrote it down because I remember hearing. I said I'll forget it today. But I mean, it could have one round. It could have been a draw.
Yeah.
So
well, the young man had knocked out so many guys.
Yeah.
He had 13 fights and 12 knockouts or some shit like that. So he had
a killer right hand, bro.
He had knocked out pretty much everyone he had fought. So he expected to win. Both of these young guys went in there expecting to win that fight, man, with that momentum, that undefeated momentum that you have going into the fight. That young Will, being 18 years old and seeing him cry like that, it was like I've kind of felt sorry for the kid a little bit. But I think he should have held those tears, man. He should have held those fucking tears and took them somewhere else.
Yeah, that was a bad look.
It was a kid's response to a grown-up situation, right?
Yeah.
I mean, but he didn't throw a chair.
He's only 18.
Man, listen, I mean, he is 18. I'm just trying to tell you, I don't get my ass whooped in private, much less on TV in front of millions of people. I don't even know. Those dudes are brave as shit to me. So I'm just saying, that's just a young kid, and in the moment it was too much for him.
Hey, did you guys catch the Jamel Herring fight?
No, I didn't see it. I heard.
I caught that one. It was that was a rough fight. That, you know what? I feel like they threw Herring to the wolves a little bit.
Oh yeah. Well, I think he kind of pretty much announced his retirement.
Yeah, he did
after the fight. But the kid that he fought, bro, he's from Worcester. Fucking Ortiz, Jermaine Ortiz, and he had this guy Jimmy Birchfield with him. And you guys ever heard his name mentioned before? He was a big promoter in New England.
Yes, sir.
What's his name?
Jimmy Birchfield.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Well, he was with Ortiz yesterday, So and Jimmy Birchfield, he must be close to 90, bro. And he had a really nice restaurant in North Providence. All the fighters used to go there, and it was good to see him. But it's, good to see this new fucking cat, man, from from my neck of the woods, where we're talking about him now. He's going to make some noise, and he even said he can fight 135. And that last night was 135, but said he can go 140, which is shock infested. But man, I love seeing a homeboy that makes some noise from up there. And Jimmy Birchfield, I had a couple of drinks with him, man. Fucking hell of a guy. Loves boxing. Not a smoker, but hell of a guy. Maybe he is now. Who knows? I haven't seen him for since the 90s. So.
Yeah, I remember hearing about him around in the 1990s, man. I know he's from up north somewhere, man. I definitely remember his name and stuff like that.
Yeah, he had a hand in every promotion pretty much in New England. Boston Garden, Civic Center.
He did
Foxwood.
business with Rip Valenti, didn't he? And them guys.
Oh, Rip Valenti. He was a shaky character. What the hell fight was he at? He was at a Peter McNeely fight, and there was a big dispute. I think Valenti walked out. He wouldn't. He wouldn't hang around. It was a yelling match between McNeely's father and Valenti.
No, Peter McNeely.
Yeah, crazy shit, man.
Yeah, he was with Sam Silverman, Valenti, man. He was with Silverman, Sam Silverman.
Yeah,
I remember they're trying to sell Peter McNeely as a legitimate opponent for Mike Tyson coming out of jail.
And they did.
That shit was crazy, man. I'll tell you what. I had never heard of him. When they announced him,
nobody had.
I'd never heard of McNeely.
That was the whole point. Everybody's going, who the hell is this guy?
What about you, Bruce? Did you ever hear about him being up in that area?
No, I didn't, blood. He's 50, 60 miles away, and I had never heard of him.
Damn, even a local ain't never heard of him. Yeah, I was like, where the fuck did they get this guy from? I remember thinking that, like, man, Peter McNeely. I don't know this dude. Not even in the Boxing magazine.
Once I heard him, he was going to be Tyson's opponent. I looked into him, and I saw he had fought in all the high schools, all the fucking Holiday Inns. But his dad, man, Tom McNeely, he fought Floyd Patterson.
Oh wow! That is right. That's right. I remember that. Yo. Wow.
So I
didn't know where they got him from, man. They dug that motherfucker out of nowhere. Because when Tyson was coming back, everybody was glued to that shit. I think it's still one of the highest pay-per-view events that had ever happened was between Mike Tyson and Peter McNeely. But they could have probably found a better opponent for Mike Tyson than Peter McNeely. That shit was ridiculous. Burt Cooper would have been good. Put him again there against Burt Cooper or Ray Mercer. One of them two. That would have been that probably wouldn't have been a good comeback fight, though. That's the thing.
Right.
I know
that would have been a good comeback fight.
I know that I suspect. I feel like I've heard Blood say he's not a big fan of the little guys like that. There's a couple of guys, but are you guys looking forward? Are you guys interested in the rematch between Nonito and
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, I remember what I was gonna say about you were saying about the heavyweights. Like in the 70s, like if you look at that 10 years between like 1970 and 1980, you'll find like 8 of the fights of the year are heavyweight fights, right? Like 80% of those are heavyweight fights. You don't even get more like heavyweight fights a year again until like 92. There's just this whole dearth of like the heavyweight division being like the forerunner of the sport, and I feel like it's never really got to the place that it used to be in the 70s. I don't think it ever will get again.
Because they had some killers, man. They had Ron Lyle in the environment, Ernest Shavers in the environment, George Foreman, and all of those guys. Those guys were big punchers, man, and they'll go in there and knock people out, and they had some wars. They'll match these guys up. Unfortunately, Foreman never fought Shavers, though. That was the fight that a lot of people would have liked to have seen.
Yeah. Ron Lyle beat him. He was going to fight Shavers, but Lyle beat him. Lyle got Shavers instead. And we all know what that was like. That was the elevator fight.
That was a fucking war. And that was a war at with Lyle and Shavers too.
I mean, there was so many back then. Even the guys like the two great white hopes of the era, man, fucking Jerry Cooney and fucking George Chuvalo. Those two guys.
Jerry Corey was part of the crew.
Well, he knocked out fucking Ernie. When Ernie was feared, nobody wanted to fight Ernie. And Corey, I think after an 8-week layoff, those guys they fought all the time. Inactivity was a fill-in fight. They didn't. It wouldn't be tolerated. After a couple of months, they'd get itchy. Fights would be signed. That's how they made their money. You
hear like the broadcast. You go listen to the old broadcast. They'll be like, the longest layoff of his career, 60 days. Like what?
Well, you know what a lot of the champions would do in the 1970s and 80s is they would take these non-title fights. So when we look back on Box Rec, they have like a championship defense. And then sometimes they'll go, I found examples of fighters who go 2 years and not have another defense, but have 5 fights in between that 2 years. Like they literally would have a defense in 74. 2 years later, they'd have another defense in 76, but they've had 5 fights in between there, and sometimes against somebody from a heavier division. And some of those fights were dangerous fights that they took, like those tune-ups and stuff.
Hey, Blood, I wanted to ask you a question because you're doing that documentary on Hagler. Now, when Hagler fought Wilfred Scipion at the Providence Civic Center, that was only for the WBA. That was only for the IBF middleweight championship. Now Hagler, he was already the WBA and WBC, but yet it wasn't on the line at that fight. I never even heard it mentioned. It was just for the inaugural IBF between him and Scipion.
I don't remember exactly how that went with the belts with Scipion.
Well, Scipion didn't have a belt. He fought Hagler for the first IBF middleweight championship belt.
Yeah, was the IBF like recognizing
listen to him, yet? Wait, Smoke, wait. He was the WBA and WBC champ, but yet those WBA and WBC, they weren't on the line against Scipion. But as soon as he beat Scipion, his next fight against I think it was Tony Simpson and Worcester, all 3 belts were on the line. I never heard anything about. I never heard about it being a non-title.
All I know is that during that time period, that was when the IBF first came around.
Yeah, it was.
I don't know. I can't remember exactly what happened, but that's when that IBF confusion thing, when he fought Scipion, it had something to do. I think you're right. I think it's only the IBF that was on the line.
It was, bro. I was there, man. I was at the Civic Center that afternoon. And there was no he didn't even bring the other belts in the ring. It was for that one belt, and that was it. I thought it was real weird.
But Hagler just wanted all the belts, though, man. He wanted all the motherfucking belts.
But we were just talking about Benavidez bringing in his 2 fucking belts that he lost into the ring, and Hagler, he was currently that's belts that he had, and he didn't even bring them in the ring with him.
I guess because those 2 belts wasn't on the line for the Scipion fight.
I can't even imagine that happening today.
Fight. So maybe the WBA and WBC didn't agree. See, I haven't got to that part in the documentary to where I've really fine-combed that yet. I haven't fine-combed the Scipion situation, but I will though.
It's interesting. I will. I never had a straight answer, and it's real fucking interesting.
I will get it for you. I'll keep this one in mind though. But I do think it has something to do with the from what I remember, I think that the IBF came into play and the WBA and WBC didn't, for some reason, they didn't put their belt they didn't want to put their belts on the line in the Scipion fight. I don't know what it had something to do with the IBF.
Yeah, you had the dude on your live the other day. He was talking about the IBF, how it was considered a second-rate title, and I remember that, bro. Tyrone the Butterfly Crowley. You mentioned Tyrone Crowley.
The USPA, they just turned that shit into the IBF.
Yeah, I mean, I think the IBF became like a sort of a darling for the fighters because it was like the warrior fucking sanctioning body because everybody fought each other and everybody were fucking killers. But yeah, I don't know.
That was Bob Arum's initial fucking. Don King had the WBC. Bob Arum was sleeping with the WBA, but they had arguments. He got the WBA representative Bob Lee to form the IBF, and fucking Bob Arum kind of stacked their rankings. It was a crooked organization when it first came around. Fucking the president Bob Lee, he had to do jail time for freaking racketeering and bribery and all this other bullshit. So people say, "Oh, I like the IBF, bro." Do some research. They're just as bad as all the rest of them. The only thing is they're scrutinized because they're based in the United States. They're easy to keep an eye on. The other ones, they're in Panama and Mexico respectively, and they have different laws there. So, but yeah, we still abide by their rules. That's what's fucked up about the governing bodies of boxing.
Well, they had Robert Lee over there at the IBF, right?
Yeah, he did time.
Yeah,
like the corruption aside, I mean, even he gave the IBF over to his son, and the corruption continued while he was in jail and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's not like there's, it's forever so kind of stuff when it comes to like boxing. But yeah, without getting into, I guess, too much of the doldrums. So on the bright note, like bringing up the Monster versus Nonito 2, like that fight of the year. That's what made me remember like what I was trying to remember last time. But yeah, this fight I'm really like excited for it.
Me too.
I spoke to Rachel like a few hours ago, Nonito's wife, and they arrived in their hotels in Japan. They're setting up saunas and fucking treadmills and shit in the room. Yeah, man, I hope the old guy can get it done and bring it back to the gym, right? Bring the belts home.
I feel the same way, man. I've been following Donaire since he beat Darchinian, man. Because I used to hate Darchinian because he was being carried by either HBO or Showtime, and this arrogant son of a gun used to come on all the time and think he was all this and then. I could never stand that fucking Darchinian dude. So when he went in there and he beat him, I followed him ever since then. But there was a time where I did miss a sweep of his fights here and there. And sometimes when I mention Hall of Fame fighters, like I'll say stuff like, "Oh, Usyk is the guy who's going to go to the Hall of Fame," and I'll totally forget about Donaire because he's such a small guy, and that's unfair because Donaire is Hall of Fame bound. He's a legendary fighter, man. And there's a small fighter that I've watched. I know he got beat by Rigondeaux that one time, but if there's a smaller fighter that I've always paid attention to and really respected, it's Nonito Donaire, man.
Yeah, so like the gym that I was an Ali fan. Like Ali brought me to fucking boxing, right? So I was an Ali fanboy. But like I had a friend, right when I started college, I met a guy who was part of the '92 Olympic team, and he was a boxer at a King's Gym. And he showed me like the like really like sort of the technical side and what's going on behind the boxing, not just like following your few favorite fighters kind of stuff. And he was like a sparring partner for Nonito's brother Glenn, right? And then Vic Darchinian beat Glenn, and then Nonito beat Vic Darchinian. But anyway,
exactly.
This whole like their whole thing is just like sort of a validation. Like also Andre Ward comes from the same gym. Like there's just some Oakland shit, right? So for me, yeah, it's like a homer thing. But that was like fight of the year 2019. So I'm expecting this some fireworks, and like listening to them talk about their experience in the first fight, like their mentality going into the fight, some of the things that happened that seem to be a little bit questionable, like now they're on top of. Like I'm expecting a really good fight, and that's like on a Tuesday.
Let me ask you something though, Smoke.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something. How old is Donaire here in 2022?
I think it's 39, something like that. 39.
That's the problem, man. This fight was in 2019, and now he's 3 years older, so that might be a disadvantage right there.
No, I'm saying it was a disadvantage in the first fight, but
it was, and it's going to even be more of a disadvantage this time.
Well, but I think he came in to try to fight a different fight. I think that he is like sort of modified where he is in his career versus what he's trying to do. And we saw that in the like Ubali fights and that other fight. Like he's just kind of like a more patient guy, or more like I don't know, circumspect. Like he went to war. he was going in to that fight, according to him and his wife, with the mentality of he's just gonna make it a good fight and he's gonna go to war with Monster. And he hadn't really like done tape on him. He just like kind of joined the tournament as a humbug. Like it was just kind of a thing, right? That resurrected his career. But now I think he's like completely focused on only this fight and not the tournament, and no outside distractions. And you know, there's some fishy stuff going on also. So they're like now just trying to shore up their like you know the details about surrounding the fight. And I don't know. As you said, he is definitely like the underdog, and I think he should be the underdog. But hope springs eternal, and I'm hoping the homer can bring it home.
I'll tell you what, if he could beat him at the age of 39 and go out there and beat somebody like the Monster, that's some real Hall of Fame type shit he's doing because of his age too. Because 39, he's past his prime. There's no way around it. What he could do is use his experience, change the game plan, like you said. Lemieux, man, he's a real student of the game. We got to learn a little bit about him because I've heard him up on the H Money show and stuff like that, him and his wife, and they're real nice people. And he has a boxing mind, so a technician in there, old school. He could pull it out. Those kind of warriors could always pull it out one time.
The guy over there, like King,
one time, he might be able to go in there and pull it out.
Yeah, like the boxing guy over at King Gym. I feel like the technician was a guy named Tommy Elder. And he was like, he never got a title shot when he was fighting in 40-50, but he was like Willie Pep's like lead sparring partner. And so it's like a real old school fucking dude. He had like one eye and shit. And yeah, man. Like I said, like it's a sentimental like thing for me. But I can't believe this guy is like fighting on this sort of stage. And it's like kind of, to me, like it's saving these fucking cards a little bit. Like this weekend. Last weekend was good, but like this weekend, it was just a bunch of these fights didn't tell me anything about the people. I mean, outside of the Nunez and the Zerto Fierro fight, like that was pretty good. And I guess Jamel Herring, he hung him up, so that was that told me something. I guess he's done with the sport. But
no major milestones this week. Nothing that changes the picture dramatically here. We're looking at it, and there's nothing there that really told us the truth. Anything about Benavidez? Like, let's take Benavidez for instance. This guy should be fighting Canelo Alvarez next, in my opinion. That's what I think. I mean, if he's already ranked up there, and they've been trying to put it together next. Let's get this fight going, man. These guys both just got out of a fight. They're in shape. Let's get that fight signed, man. I'm tired of hearing all this stupid shit, too, about PBC and side of the street and all of that shit. Get the fight fucking signed. Let's get it going. I mean, I don't know what else y'all will want to see Benavidez does. He could go up there and he could hold those 3 belts in his hand like he's a world champ, but there's an undisputed in that weight class. So sitting up there and trying to fool the people is what they do so they could brand on social media and shit like that. That's not the answer. Go out there and get those belts with Canelo Alvarez. But he said last night they was mentioned 3 guys, right? They mentioned Canelo Alvarez, Charlo, and David Morrell, right? You know more about Morrell than I do. Both of y'all know more about him. I've only ever seen him fight 2 times or something like that, right? So he said that all of those guys are scared of him and basically called them bitches and all kind of stuff like that. He's doing a lot of talking, but we want to see these fucking fights develop, man. He's not significant to me unless he's fighting the world champion. He's going around carrying 3 belts on his fucking waist and on his shoulders. Fight the motherfucking champ, man. Fight the real champ. And then we could credit you for being some kind of champion.
Hey, I got a question then. Do you see the referees stepping in and stopping the fight like he did last night against Canelo, though? I mean, the boxing world would go crazy, bro.
He ain't going to beat Canelo like that. That's David Lemieux. He ain't going to do that to Canelo's head movement is way too good. His upper body movement and stuff. He ain't going to be able to do that shit to Canelo Alvarez. I still think that I don't think he could beat Canelo Alvarez. As big as David Benavidez is, I don't think Canelo is going to slip by that jab, go to the body, All them body shots that he was trying to land against Bivol, he gonna land them shits against David Benavidez. But you know, we'll see though. I don't know how. I mean, they mentioned the Morrell guy. Maybe you guys could tell me why he's being mentioned, right? Because I've only ever seen him fight twice. I don't know no names he's fought, right? I don't know much about him. So y'all could school me on that, right? But he's being mentioned too.
Yeah,
He has one of the belts, man. You know, he had the,
six fights.
what was he? The WBA Reggie belt, isn't he, for middleweights?
Yeah.
So
under for super middleweights, he's got
super
the Reggie.
middleweight. Okay, nobody who has a world championship belt should be avoiding anybody. If they're claiming to a title, they're not too young. 5 wins. I mean, people should want to fight that man. And then he should be fighting all contenders if he's a world champion. Because I don't go for he's too young. Bullshit. You got the belt. You went and achieved a goal, a lofty goal. Now defend it. Now show us what you're worth, bro. I mean, you're not going to be fighting chumps, even though you've only had 5 fights yourself. We want to see you take on top contenders. You know, they should have to get to you through you to get to undisputed.
Yeah, and then I mean, he has a Reggie belt, so they don't need his belt for undisputed, but he can leverage that belt for guys
for sure, bro.
who would like to get their fight, right? But I agree with exactly what you're saying. Like, if you have the belt, then people should want your belt. You're in the way now. It is like grown man business at this point. But it seems like even though Morrell called out Benavidez is going the interim route instead of like trying to get the Reggie belt off of Morrell. But really, the whole thing of it is they're on PBC. So this is just like a bunch of in-house manufactured beef. And as Blood pointed out, him carrying his trophies everywhere is not fooling anybody who's like, you know, halfway pays attention.
See, but here's my problem with this whole thing, though, right? Is that and Herring was a perfect example. He fought Shakur and he fought Ortiz, 2 young guns that had an opportunity to prove themselves against a worthy champion level fighter. And the rest of these so-called championship level fighters, bro, they don't want to give none of the young guys a shot because, you know, it's the high risk, low reward.
Well, the high. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, Blood, go ahead, bro. Cook.
Well, the high risk, low reward shit isn't working anymore, right? That's why boxing is. That's why we're seeing so much of these undisputed fights now, because people are getting the public. They're no longer fooled by all of this bullshit that they're trying to portray in front of us. They know that there's way too many champions out there. These guys have to go in there and they have to take a risk now. Because look what that pot of gold that Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao had, they're waiting for them. Them guys, they don't got that. They don't got that pot of the gold at the end of the rainbow. They got to go ahead and make these fights now. All right, or else boxing networks ain't going to pick them up, all kind of shit. They're going to pick up other stuff. So they got to deliver. These promotional outfits, they have to fucking deliver now. It's just that simple.
So what about Tank? Has Tank lived up to where he should be or supposed to be at up to this point?
Not to me, he has not, because number one, Tank, it's hard to even tell what fucking weight class this guy's fighting at sometimes. Anyways. This next fight he got with Rolly, what's it at? 135, right? So yes, he's fighting at 135, yet we're getting ready to have an undisputed at 135 between Kambosos and Devin Haney Jr. And then you got his promoter going around making it like Tank is got all the belts and stuff like that. And they're putting it on pay-per-view for fucking $80. I'm not paying for that shit. I'm gonna fucking live stream the fuck out of that event right there. Right? That's not a pay-per-view fight. You have undisputed at that weight class. So Tank means nothing until he goes after undisputed. Fuck what Leonard Ellerby says. He's out there trying to be a promoter and stuff like that. They lie all the time, man, and making it out and exaggerating these events. I've heard them the last few days, exaggerating all this shit. The big fight at 135 is Kambosos versus Devin Haney Jr. It don't go no further than that.
I agree.
That's it.
Y'all better smash the like button, boy. Y'all getting some good shit out here. Hey, bro, I just had this last question I want to ask you guys about. Bill Haney not being able to go to Australia, will it have an impact? And did y'all see that that it was going to happen like that?
I don't think he'll have much of an impact, but Devin Haney, he's old enough to handle it. And Bill Haney said that Devin Haney's prepared for that kind of shit anyway. He's prepared Devin Haney for that. So, I think that Devin Haney can handle it, man. Now, the question is, will Devin Haney have that dog in him when he go over there to take those belts from Kambosos? Because that's what he's going to have to do. He's going to have to floor Kambosos probably 2 or 3 times, man, to get some 10-8 rounds. Because I think that they're going to, they're going to be cheering for everything. Everything Kambosos lands, the crowd is going to be going crazy. Devin Haney could be blocking them shots. They're still going to make it appear as though he's landing them shots. And, next thing you know, Devin Haney's leaving after winning that fight, leaving a loser. That could happen very easily. So the question is, does Devin Haney got that dog? Does he need Bill Haney to come across the pond and give him that? I don't think so. I think he should be able to handle it himself. I don't think it'll be much of a disadvantage.
I'm looking forward to that fight, man. That's going to be huge. I think Devin Haney. I think he's the favorite. I believe, isn't he the betting favorite?
And, yeah, but it got tighter after they heard Bill Haney wasn't going to be there.
Okay, well, reacted. To me, that's just some bureaucratic bullshit. That's people who see his name and they're in the office and they say, hey, let's look into this guy. He applied for a visa here, and hey, he's got a conviction in 1991. This law that was put on the books in 44 says nobody who with a conviction that was unreported can enter the United States. You know how boxers are. You put things in front of them, they don't read the fine print. They don't go through. They check all the boxes. Like when you go into a doctor's office, have you had rheumatic fever? Have you had hepatitis B? Have you had dude, they sign. There's so many things put in front of them, but you get these bureaucrats who pick through that because they see a name on there, and all of a sudden now it's front page news, and it sucks for Bill Haney. But he should be in a position where he should have underlings who study those every dot and T that's crossed in those contracts, but he didn't, and now he's got to deal with it. He said, I saw him last night on I think it was the ESPN broadcast, and he said he might be there, and he has all kind of electric devices so he can talk to his son in the corner. I don't think it's going to be a problem, man. I think Devin Haney is a true professional. I think he's gonna win this fight, and like you said, Blood. He's got to win it convincingly. He's not going to get a fucking decision. They love Kambosos in Australia. He's a national hero over there, man. It's going to be, Devin Haney's going to be booed. He's going to be the bad guy, and I think he's going to shine. I think he's just going to rise to the occasion, and then he's going to go back for a rematch there too. So
and the rematch has to happen in Australia, right?
In Australia, yep.
Okay.
He was once again. He wanted to fight so bad, he just signed.
He shouldn't complain. He's doing the right thing. He could learn beat him 2 times. If he beats him once, he could do it again. And I believe that Devin Haney's going to win too. I don't know. Something's just telling me, even though I'm not really sure. I'm still not sure about where I have Devin Haney right now. But if he could go over there, man, considering that he is fighting against some odds here too, going over to someone else's country. He's going to be in front of a hostile crowd. He's there without his father, who he's used to having around. Considering that he could overcome those odds, man, I'm going to have to give him some extra points for that shit too, right? So, once he wins those belts, and from there, that's just going to take him to another level. And then is he going to stay around and be an undisputed king and reign, or is he going to move up to 140 from there? But he'll have that claim, that undisputed claim that only a few people get to have. Or it could be Kambosos who has that, right? Kambosos could end up becoming the guy who gets that undisputed claim. Does he move up to 147? What is it? 140? He move up to 140 and fight someone like Josh Taylor. Man, there's a lot of interesting fights there, bro. And right around that 135, 130 to 140 range, there's a lot of good fights.
And Devin Haney is a huge 135 pounder, man. I don't know how he made 135, or if he's going to make 135. He will make it. He has the good folks at Snack representing him in the the supplement industry. So he'll definitely make that 135.
He's gonna have to move up though because of his age.
Yeah.
At some point, he's not gonna be able to stay.
No, he's a growing young man.
Exactly, because of his age, he's not gonna be able to stay. How old is Kambosos?
I think we'd say 27, 28, something like that.
So he's already kind of like he's still gonna get a little bigger though. Those guys, once they get in their 30s and stuff, they put on that weight. It's just like it don't even matter if they're like real muscle bound. Sometimes they still put that weight on, bro. It's very rare for somebody to stay like, especially someone as young as Haney, to stay right there at lightweight like that. I don't think so.
And the same with Shakur Stevens, man. He's going to be right there on their tails.
Yes, exactly.
He looked like a giant in that ring when he fought Valdez.
He sure did. You could tell by his shoulder structure and stuff that he's going to end up being 140, maybe even a welterweight down the line.
I think,
fellas, I am drifting fast. I was up all night. Thanks for inviting me onto the panel. I'm a new sub. I'm glad I found you, and I guess I'll get into the rhythm of like when you do shows and like what the topics are and all that stuff as I become more familiar with your content.
You know, I'm kind of a relic on here, Smoke. So I talk a lot about old boxing, man. On Tuesday nights, me and my brother George Jakovic, Chad, and sometimes G5 jumps on. And you know, we try to do a little bit of pay homage to Tuesday night fights, and you know, we show a couple of old fights, and we'll talk about it because that's what we grew up in, bro. You know, it's like us sitting around passing the fucking blunt around, and you know, I do a lot of shit there. I like to talk weed, man. You know, weed is my thing, bro. So you know, we talked about that a long time earlier. So you and I can definitely hook up there, man. Jazz, bro. I didn't even touch the tip with that, bro. I've got a fucking. You know, I've been following jazz musicians. I've played jazz. I've met jazz musicians since the fucking mid '70s, bro. So we're definitely gonna hook up, my brother. I appreciate you coming on here, man.
Yeah, man. I'm from a jazz family, New Orleans. You know that Donald Byrd is a grand uncle, and fucking the Meters and the Alcorns, like all kinds, like you know. Anyway, yeah, we'll get all into that. Yeah, I'm excited. Hey, the Tuesday night fights. I remember, you know, Holyfield, Quaweed rematch for the Tuesday night fight. Yeah, I'm down. I'm getting.
Hey,
say again,
peace, my brother. Peace.
Before you go, man, I wanted to tell you, man. You're my big brother. My big brother. You're his favorite YouTuber. When you be on H Money's show, he always says, "Man, I agree with Smoke, man. That's my boy right there."
Oh, for real? Okay,
yeah,
man. You know how much hell I get on these channels, man. Like, you know, I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. Don't take it easy, though, bro.
Man. Yeah. Peace, guys.
All right, Smoke.
First time I've ever spoken to Smoke on a panel, man. You know, he was running Young Billy's this morning when I got up. And he's like, well, where are we going? I said, you know, hey, man, come on over to my channel. I'm going to talk about the fights last night. And Lord knows, I always end up talking about weed on here and fucking whatever it may be, man. You know, I've been on here for 3 hours too, man. I gotta get something to eat. And
I'm going to go get me some beef stew right now. They got this restaurant across the street, man. They got the best fucking beef stew. They specialize in beef stew. Have you ever heard of a restaurant that specializes in beef stew? They got potatoes, all that shit. You put it on top of the rice and get some cabbage on the side. Bruce, I'm finna decorate my plate, man. And to the young brother who's on the phone too, man. It's good talking to you too, sir. It's good to meet you.
That's my man D-Ray, man. That's D-Ray. You see him in your
D-Ray, man. D-Ray,
you see him on your channel all the time.
D-Ray.
I think he's even wrenched up on your channel.
I have seen you, D-Ray.
Of course, bro.
Yeah, man. Shout out to you, bro. Hell yeah.
Hey, man. Just make sure that you get some seconds of that beef stew, man, because you made that shit sound good, bro.
Yeah, man.
You did, my brother. You did.
Bro, I don't know. I'll probably be on the toilet all tomorrow, bro. I'm gonna be doing it big time.
I'm gonna see if I can get the wife to make me some French toast
tomorrow too. Shit. Nah, thanks a lot, Bruce, big bro, and I'll see y'all later, man. Peace out.
Thanks, bro. Salute. D-Ray, like I said, sir. Bro, then there were two. I'm gonna do one. I'm gonna do another hit, man. You want to say anything before I get on out of here, brother?
Yes, sir, man. I want to thank you for having this live, bro. And you know, I want to send out blessings to the Russell family. That truly was unfortunate and sad, bro. Heartbreaking, and it's amazing how you can almost develop a relationship with somebody online that you've not actually ever met, and when somebody give you some news like that, that it impacts you like it was a friend or a family member, bro. So I appreciate you allowing us the opportunity to come on here, bro, and be able to talk about that and then other things as well. You know what I mean? So hey man, I appreciate you, bro. I just want everybody to subscribe, like, and share. Bruce, get out there and enjoy some of that sunshine, my brother.
I
Blessings.
know, bro. First day I taking the hoodie off, man. I'm fucking white as a ghost over here, but I'll get myself out there, brother. I appreciate it. I appreciate it, my brother D Ray. I'll talk to you soon, my man.
Yes, sir.
Peace. Guys, I appreciate all you people coming in here, man. You know, I think more people come in, over 30 people I saw at the peak, man, and there's still 21 people in here. I appreciate it, man. I hope you all give me the thumbs up, man. Just great to talk about boxing, great to talk about weed, man. Everybody who came on the panel, man, Mad Chad, the Jedi, Blood, D-Ray, you know, good vibes up here. I appreciate everybody coming up here, man. I'll see you around, man. Don't forget Tuesday night fights, me and George and Chad and G5, and who knows, man. Sometimes we get lucky enough to get a fighter from the past to come up here and join us. So peace out, everybody, man.